Happy Saturday, one and all. Back we go again. Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, thrilled to be steering the ship. 8 races coming your way. Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. You're going to be learning everything about the exchange today, getting all the best tips in the business. Don't forget, of course, it's a like and subscribe show. You can do that interactive. Let us know you're out there. Let's be having you today. The rain has turned up, hasn't it? Heavy ground wherever you're looking pretty much. We've got 8 races, as I said. 5, I think, from Sandown. 3 from Wincanton as well. We popped down to the West Country track. Good to see them having a Saturday in the sun, so to speak. So look, come on. I can see loads of you out there in the chat at the moment. We're cracking on with 2023, aren't we? And I'm delighted to give you a stellar panel again going down. Grade 1 action. It's Tolworth time. Who wins? Your turn to let us know. We'll give you all the raucous reaction during the races. And, of course, some anti-post reaction, no doubt, from Betfair's big hitter himself. But before I go to Dublin, let's welcome the postman back in. The anti-postman, Robbie Wilders. Collars are still a thing, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm running out of gear to wear that has collars. I mean, I used to wear this in PE back in the day.
I believe
it's
that.
Not a nice bit of kit, really.
This is the game, though. You've got lots of people
Is it the
say
game, though? Because a point I made earlier is that women who Ron is sat next to me don't have to wear collars on the show. So double standards.
Oh, you're not happy, are you? Well, lots of people think that I sponsor this little chap here on my show.
But, Ralph. Yeah, so it's pretty decent brand.
Don't go there. But anyway, look, great to have Robbie. Have you tipped anything up for this weekend?
Yeah, one in the veterans race, yeah.
Oh, we love the veterans race. That's what's that? 3
really
o'clock? Yeah.
3 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
Always
been a vibrant market
January highlight.
Yeah, always a January highlight. Yeah, absolutely. Our old favourites come back out. But before that, 2:25, it is the Tolworth. Kate Tracey comes back in. First time in 2023. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, happy to be back. I'm just pleased that Robbie actually managed to acknowledge that I am, in fact, a female. That's quite like almost a compliment from him.
Yeah, well, listen, let's not go gender bending out there. You know what I mean? You can be whatever you like in this day and age.
Exactly.
But what you are for us today is pressing the buttons for Betfair.
I am, yes, pressing the buttons. Got the 2 laptops, got the phone. Hopefully technology will stay savvy.
And I'll tell you one man that will be thrilled that you are. Shall we go to the big hitter? She's not a magpie, Barry, is she?
No, Kate's rock on. She's brilliant. Yeah. Always been lucky for us with her magic finger. So long may it continue today. And for Sandown, good card on the Tolworth card. It's decent. And also tricky racing in Wincanton, I thought.
Yes, it is, absolutely. I mean, look, we had this over Christmas, didn't we, Barry? A lot of people were saying because of the abandonments in Britain, that's why the domestic game was so good. The cynicists out there, of course, have said, well, Christmas is always good, the racing. This is where we need to see the field standing up. The Tolworth, though, can you remember more a competitive version than this?
No, it's been pretty decent, hasn't it? There's 8 runners. Obviously, it's a dead 8 for each way punter, so fingers crossed nothing happens between now and, 2:15 for that to change. But yeah, it's a pretty. It looks a decent renewal. It looks competitive, and hopefully we'll see a real nice one come out of it.
Yeah, okay. We got lucky 15 people out there. If you're new to the show, Barry places a trade basically in every single race. 1 of 8 then for you. So if you fancy a little tickle, a lot of people like to follow Barry for very good reasons. One of the best judges I've worked with, you know that out there. It was a very successful Saturday that kicked us off in 2023. Have we got 4 that we can get on the move?
Yeah, and there 4 are going to be in Sandown because there's no really each-way races in Wincanton, and not the races we're covering anyway. So Kate plays in the 150 in Sandown for our Lucky 15, or each-way Lucky 15. We kick off with Gladiator Alan. I'm looking forward to asking you about that later on. In the 225 Amaris for Paul Nichols, that's becoming a very backable price now. It was 7-4, it's out to 7-2.
Wow.
So I'm happy to put him in our Lucky 15 with the 3 places. The old favourite of mine, Prime Venture, won the Veterans Chase off the same mark last year. 6 places each way punters on the Betfair Sportsbook. He goes in to the lucky 15, and we finish up at 335 with Paladin, where there's 4 places and more additional places on the Betfair Sportsbook. There's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 singles. Adds up to 15 bets in total. We're doing it for £1 each way, so it's costing us £30. So fingers crossed we can get a couple of winners in that. We had 2 winners in it last week, and we got a decent return. So hopefully we'll get a couple more today.
Absolutely, you know it, Barry. And Prime Venture, you mentioned there. I want to come back to a couple of things. We've got time before the 1:15 at Sandown comes up. You can see the market there. That's the exchange. And Barry mentioned that Tamuras, the Nichols runner in the Tolworth, all the way out to 7-2. You will not beat 11-4 on the books out there. So that's where the value lies if you want to side with Paul Nichols runner in that. And listen, lots not to like about him out there. But you mentioned Prime Venture. We had Dolphin Square, a memory of that on New Year's Day. And Prime Venture, that was some crack when he came from out the clouds, wasn't it, in this last year?
Yeah, it was a real war of attrition this race last year, we recall, Dave. One went off at a helter-skelter pace, like a scalded cat off in front. And it did collapse a bit, the pace in front, but he stayed on best of anything. And I think, if truth be told, this has been his primary target all year without a shadow of a doubt. Back for another go at this off the same mark that he won it last year, and in very similar conditions.
Yeah, so Barry's giving him a chance, and isn't he backable out there, guys? So that's a real highlight for us. There are Barry's selections there, and we're hoping to bring the curtain down in the last as well, aren't we? Did you get it? You get it?
Yeah, tenuous. No, to be fair, it works.
Palladium, come on,
That's a really nice pun.
Listen, I thought of this yesterday.
Did you? This is 24 hours worth.
This is the thing. I've been saying it all day. You know, Palladium's been smashed, Barry, hasn't he? Paul Keeley put him up yesterday and his scissors, mentioned it on the What a Shout show. It was 50-1 at the time. We said this is the Santini switch. He's been hammered.
Yeah, there's been a few quid for it. Like you say, the Santini switch, the Polygundry, and Nico de Boinville takes the mount. Got a lot in its favour, not least its mark. So looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, he's got a great record of track. I think he's unbeaten actually. Nico gets on. So look, we're really looking forward to that. We're going to race through this. I've got a good vibe about today. Should we try and start?
I've never seen you in such a good mood, mate.
Are you sure?
May that continue?
Are you sure? Okay,
Maybe train delays bring you joy.
Train strikes. Who knew they would bring out such a good character in me? Right, okay, let's go down. We know what Barry likes in this, but is there a single trade, Barry, in the 1:15?
Yes, there is, Dave. Yeah, I'm going to. I like Gerard. It was a 7-4 chance though. It's out to 3-1 now. Got £10 for winning that handicap chase in Suddle. Beat a nice horse in our Jet who's gone on and won since, albeit was getting £8 off our Jet. It seems to be a fragile sort. Doesn't stand up to a lot of racing. I think the drift in this price is solely down to the amount of rain they were expecting. I'm not sure that's really materialised, the amount of rain that was forecast. So, like I say, it doesn't take a lot of racing, but we're just going to have a little win bet on him just at the price. I think he's very backable. He's a 3-1 chance now. We're going to have 25 quid win at 4.0, which is bang on 3-1.
Never let it be said that I don't like a bandwagon, and I'm very happy to be in tandem with Barry, actually. So we're doubling up there. I'm actually hoping this is going to kick off a few stable doubles, actually. Ooh. There might be a tenuous link there for you to work out what's coming, but we won't give you our tips until the race previews begin, usually around about 10 minutes before every race. And like I said, if you're new to the show, welcome along. Let's have some fun this afternoon. That's what it's all about. And I like Gemirond as well. £10 has gone up, but this is, Faraday won the race last year. You remember, if you were with us on the show, you've regular viewers out there and people that, go to Sandown on these days. It's always these sort of races, heavy ground, Venetia on a Saturday, 2 mile 4. He's not totally exposed, I think, yet over fences. He'll do for me. But Kate, I said Gemirond wins the first, doesn't he, when we came in, and he went, oh, no.
Yeah, no, I'm against him, and Barry just touched on it there with this lad, the fact that I think that the ground may just have gone against him. We see Venetia Williams and we see the rain coming and we just sort of back blindly sometimes. Where Gemirond, I actually don't think he's one of those horses who really wants deep conditions. He's not entirely straightforward either, because some of the comments that have come out from Charlie Deutsch afterwards, a few of his runs, and then last time out as well, was that, he needs a bit of room and he needs to basically have his own way, where I don't think he's going to get that here. So I thought at that price he was worth taking on, and I'm siding with a few horses today that fell last time out.
Okay.
PJB.
You're taking leaf of my my New Year's resolution to
no.
be more forgiving of when you've supported Oz, because he was well fancied last time.
He was really well fancied last time, yeah, so I am definitely forgiving of that, able to run up for the same mark here. And the annoying part was he fell at the 7th fence, but he was actually jumping really well up until that point. That was just his second chase start, and as I say, he fell then whilst the money was down, running off the same mark, but more importantly, he ran in the EBF final last year. That is always a race I just want to basically follow off a cliff for my handicappers for the next year.
Won it, didn't he, for Nichols? Yeah. Nice horse.
Yeah, really nice. And that was off of a £2 higher mark than he's on here. So I think he still has more mileage than in this mark and over fences. I can forgive and hope he gets a clear round.
We haven't had a race on the chase track yet at Sandown. Of course, it's always heavier, we think, or more testing on the hurdles track. We've had 2 races on the hurdles track, and they're both slowed by about 30 seconds. And Andy Sim following in with me and Barry out there. Look, Andy, welcome along, one of our regulars. Loves to get a little multiple going on himself. And Gemerond kicks him off. And you ended with a 4-timer last week, didn't you, Andy? So
yeah. Let us know what else is in the doubles and trebles, mate. Yeah.
We'd like that.
Yeah.
We'd like that. What would you put in this race if you were doing a multi?
I'd have Skippy on. I wouldn't have Gemerond.
You're the king of pronunciations, and I think you've had a bit of a shocker there.
What did you say?
On
Scypian,
both of them.
isn't it?
I go Scypian.
Scypian?
What is a
Scypian, isn't it?
What is a Scypian?
Well, it's a Scypian. Look,
He's not by Scorpion.
He's not by Scorpion.
No.
It's the first thing to say.
What actually is it? I thought it was just a made-up word.
Have a Monsieur Maire.
I go Scipion.
I think he has got a bit of a quirk, though, this chap as well.
It's the name of a company, a framework company.
Fascinating.
An investment manager.
It's owned by Ashley Head,
Capital,
who slightly more experienced race goers and pundits and Barry, will know is a very fearless big punter over the years. And this is with Tom Lacey. And Tom's got Blow Your Wad, isn't he, coming up in the Tolworth for these guys as well. So you're hoping for doubles then.
Well, no, I don't know that horse for the Tolworth, to be fair, but I like Skippy on here because it's his second run over fences. It wasn't a bad run at Utoxa on the first time. Ground was quick enough there, quick as he'd ever encountered.
Yeah.
He was third there. The winner followed up in a bet race at Aintree next time. He's down £2 on slower ground. And you look at his novice hurdle form. I mean, second run over hurdles, he was placed in he finished close third in a Grade 2 Leamington on soft. I would have expected him to achieve a bit more by now. He hasn't really quite done that, but he's a fair enough price, I'd say. And I think he probably should be quite well handicapped off 129. But there are a good few here you can make quite good cases for. I think it's a pretty strong race to start us off.
Yeah, he is quite an interesting horse when you actually look at that novice hurdle form. Lacey usually takes his best, certainly among his best novice hurdlers to Warwick and to Haydock as well. And if you think about what was the real quirky individual he had that never went on over fences? Yes,
Adramel.
We got it between us. He's a good example of that. Paul Bakewell, welcome along the Saturday. High stakes from the Great Trick Stable should run quite well. Kate,
I was looking at.
Oh right, you take it.
Oh, sorry, please.
No, crack on. No, you have a stronger opinion.
No, please.
I can usually back these things.
High stakes is another one I was looking at. It's kind of a slightly similar profile to Scipion. He was quite highly thought of at novice hurdles. I mean, he isn't beaten far by Ballygriffin Cottage, who's obviously a very nice horse.
Yes.
But Kate, please continue.
No, the first time tongue ties interest him. It's just Warren Great Tricks' form. I can never get a handle on this yard. There's certain yards that seem to elude you. At the start of the season, they weren't firing, and then they came back to winning ways, and they've seemed to go off the boil. But now, again, they're back in better form. So, yeah, he's one that may get that uncontested lead.
All right, well, let's find out because they are lining up. Barry, what's the market saying after we've had our say?
Yeah, just before they go off, Gemerand 4.4, 5.5 DJB, 7.2, Subfront 4, 6.6. Variant 8.8 high stakes.
All right, great stuff. So myself and Barry are on the jolly in the first then. Let's hope we have a jolly old time. I'll tell you what, Precious Helen is quite an interesting mare here because she didn't fire at market raising on her return. I expect her to run a lot better. Henry Daly's having a really good time of it at the moment, and this one wants a share of the lead with Gemeron and High Stakes, who Kate said should try and get on with it. Can't lead though, Gemeron. Here we go. We start on a great part of the track as well, guys, don't we, Kate?
Yeah, it's great, exactly. And you've got these fences coming straight up over the 2.5 mile trip then. It's just, it puts the pressure on from the get-go.
Straight over the
railways.
Straight
into 5 to 2, the favourite, once you got off in front like that. You know, that's something that Charlie Deutsch has said in the past about, he's a bit quirky in respects that he needs to do things his own way. And if he gets a solo up in front like that unimpeded, he can take a bit of beating. He's into 2.9, 2.88 now.
This is very much a Charlie Deutsch MO as well, isn't it? Get on with it. They had a winner for Rich Ritchie yesterday at Ludlow. If you're watching that card, I forget the name. Fire Dancer, was it something like that? Ex-French.
Yeah, massive layoff, wasn't it?
Massive layoff, and they thought it was a bit of a tearaway. That was the word I got, but he got the job done just in the end from the other fancy horse race. But Charlie from the front, he gets always a great rhythm, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just settles them down, doesn't he? It's all about rhythm, this track, isn't it? And you can't really argue with the way he's jumped the first few, and he's got a nice, easy lead. So
let's have a look at some of your selections. What about Scipion? I'm going to call him Scipion. Every time you say Scipion, it makes me sort of grimace a bit.
Find out what that word actually means before we.
Yeah, if anyone knows, please tell Robbie so we can correct him.
He's jumping absolutely fine. I mean, maybe slightly wider than you'd want. I know he did go slightly wide off the back of that one, but...
Kate, I'm looking at you all of a sudden because we have a last time out faller who you've been forgiving with, and he's been a bit deliberate, PJ.
He has. Like you say, it's kind of... You made the good point there about where they start over the 2.5 mile trip at Sandown with those rail fences.
Unforgiving.
Yeah, very unforgiving for a horse that fell last time out. Is still an inexperienced chaser. Yeah, that's not really an ideal starting point, and he didn't jump.
Who have you got on your back? And you saw him at Foss last in the week.
Sean
Everyone
Bowen,
lauded that week.
That
win, didn't they? Sean Bowen at the moment is just hot. Yeah. The Irish trainers know it as well, don't they? And he'll be in hot demand at all the festivals, that's for sure, and the spares that are going. So we've got a circuit to go, Barry, high up in the air out the back as well. What else? We've got Sop and Thrall for the Moors. He's looking on from rear as well. Certainly Redder last time out winner when he emerged from the fog at Wincanton. Still hot about the Fav, I suppose, with the second favourite looking in trouble.
Yeah, 236 now. We can cash out for a profit of 15 quid in our bet if we want to. PJB, like you say, at 23 now. R4 is out to 17. The horse that's hustling up the favourite in second place there, the grey horse, Precious Eleanor, in 7. Had a bet for SP of 11.
She's a strong stayer, Precious Eleanor. So interesting tactics there. Just looking to see my mum myself is on it. Yeah, Richard Patrick, of course. They're really turning on the gas now, aren't they?
Yeah, gone quite early.
Evens.
Is he doing
evens? I feel like cashing out at this stage. Huh?
That's a mile away, isn't it?
Yeah, for a horse that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He's got
there's distress signals on several of them in behind mine.
I think certainly with the market danger looking absolutely gone. I mean, you need a miracle, Sean Bowen, from there. I think certainly Red's creeping into it a tad.
Wow! Great camera angle for that fence, isn't it?
What a camera shot!
Yeah, that was marvellous. All of a sudden, we're at the fourth last at Fontwell, which is absolutely the place to be when you want to get excited. Yeah, that's a great innovation. I love it. Whoever that was, well done at RTV. So here we go in SIS, it will be, of course, won't it? Okay, off we go then, and we're just really getting there now. Scipion's looking like he's in a little bit of distress as well. Certainly Red might be the danger.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, he looks the likeliest one to put it up to Gemerond at the moment.
Although Precious Eleanor's not going away at the moment. What's Precious Eleanor saying? Yeah, she's up into 92, isn't she? Yeah, and again, she is a strong stayer. She's on the outside, Charlie Deutsch on the inside. At the moment, it's all going well if you're on the Fav. Or did I? Yeah, okay, he was a little bit tight in there, wasn't he? Is that a sign of him tiring, Kate, potentially?
I just think it was just an awkward stride, really. Oh, no, now after he's hit that one, as Barry just says, yes, that did look more tired than I was forgiving him for last one, not so much there. Yeah, Precious Eleanor, this isn't normally her time of year. Normally she's a spring campaigner, you really want to side with her, but she does stay all day.
And Henry Daly has she's taken the measure of Gemerond. He's not gone away. And look at the body language of Charlie Deutsch. He's not panicking, is he? He's on the fancied horse, Rob, and he's like, well, listen, if you want to go too soon, you go for it. Certainly Red's the only one so far that's creeping into it from off the pace. The others are trying to fill their lungs. I mean, Sean Bowen actually thinks he's a miracle man, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because he is literally kitchen sinking it on the second
Fav. Definitely. I think Gemerond might actually see him.
Yeah, he jumped that better.
Just conserved a bit of energy.
Yeah,
that's odds on now, Gemerond.
It's all about jockey.
There, did he?
Again, certainly Red will be the finisher, and Mark Goldstein, he'll be sensing himself a big Saturday win. Here we come to 2 out then. Here we go. This is where it's all out. It looks like Precious Eleanor starting to crack.
3 of them.
Now certainly Red goes on. This is where he joined in last time at Wincanton. All of a sudden Gemerond is looking out on his feet. And certainly Red's just joined in, guys.
Yeah.
And there you go, 103. He's just got to pop the last, and he's Bob's your uncle.
Let him run it down.
He's
got the track position,
he's got enough in hand, hasn't he? Gemerond's doing gallant stuff to try and get back. We bumped into one, though, unfortunately, guys, out there, myself and Barry, and whoever went in there, Andy Sim with your multiples. Well. He's beaten the rest cold, Gemerond. On ground he probably doesn't like, still progressive, but this is a horse that is finally going places. You should have seen him when he started over fences. He could hardly jump them, but the engine is there. Lydia Richards, Mark Goldstein, winning the first race on a Saturday. It's what you like to see out there. Barry, we bumped into one.
Looks like it. He's a 9-year-old now, mind. Gemerond hit a low 1.58. So just 2-1, 4-7 around that mark. There was never really anything else got into it bar Precious Eleanor. Precious Eleanor traded at a low in running of 2.54. Your winner, Certainly Red, had a Betfair SP. Certainly Red's Betfair SP was he had a Betfair SP of 11.5, and he hit a high in running of 20-1 in running. So yeah, interesting race. Obviously, Demoran had everything his own way. He's ran his race, no excuses there. Just outstayed really.
I think he could have probably done without Precious Eleanor putting on a bit of pressure down the back, really. But yeah, look, absolutely. Well, the reason why I say bumped into one is because I've written about this horse quite a few times. He had 13 runs over hurdles for 2 wins, and they wanted to make him into a chaser. Honestly, if you saw it, first off, it was, despite the fact he was not running too bad, he looked anything like a chaser. That's only his 6th start over fences. And he came good at, he won by 17 lengths last time in a funny race at Wincanton where they all went disappearing into the fog and he emerged out of it. I was doing the close-ups that day. It was a nightmare. I don't want to say that we ever guess, but it was a case of we tried to get some man on the ground, and the commentator. Luckily, we had Richard Hawes that day, who had spotters as they were going round. He was being very, very good.
Like people around the track giving
and in the ambulance and all that sort of thing. That line of cars that were going around, he had spotters with him. It was as sterling performance as ever from Horsley. But we relied on him that day. But this guy, he had a faller that was upsides him, 2 out, and you wonder whether he was slightly flattered. But it's great to see a small yard like this and a jockey that's been around as long as I have. That's for sure. Mark Goldstein getting the day in the sun, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
How long's he been around?
Long time. As long as I can remember.
Yeah, not a gentleman you normally associate with winners on a Saturday on telly. So
I'm actually going to have a little look into that.
To see, because like I said, it feels like he's been around forever. He was the one behind the camera with Batch's old videos, wasn't he? I can't remember the name of them now. But they were hilarious. They were every Saturday morning.
Of course, Matty Batch, you saw on the week. He mentioned on the show that was it. Final ride had come. He'd been hanging on for a little while, but now Batch has finally thrown his hat in the ring and said, "Yeah, I'm coming out in one piece." And there was a lot of love for Batch this week. Everyone would have seen that. Manny Plough did a piece with him, and he was on the front of the website, and he's got an appearance on Sky coming up. So all good for Batch, really, and one of the good guys. And we're lucky that we get to work with him week in, week out. He's probably watching actually and thinking, "What have I done to deserve all that?" He needs to still do a bit more, Batch, if you want to become a bit more established in here. So
I've only ever done one show with that fella actually.
Have you?
Hopefully more in the future. Now he's going to have a bit less on.
100%. I'm looking to see how many rides Mark Goldstein has had. That is his 1,779th ride.
When did he start? When was his first one?
I'd have to go right back.
Sorry, man, I'm putting you on the spot there.
You are putting me on the spot. But look, he's a journeyman, and obviously if he's chatting to Batch, then he's been around for quite some time. But it's great to see. We've got to go to Wincanton. The 1:30 comes up. There's your Betfair SP. They went quite hard there, guys, didn't they? But it didn't look that bad on the chase course, I don't think. It's tiring stuff there, but not très soup, as they say. And we cannot wait for the Veterans Chase coming up in around about an hour and a half's time. Our final race today is at Sandown. It's the 3:35. We're with you until then. Stick with us, get involved, like, subscribe and share. That's what it's all about, this show. Thumbs up if you're watching Facebook Live. Hello. And if you're looking at the clips on Twitter, hashtag what a time we're having on RP Live. All right, so let's get some more winners off. When you hit the crossbar, you've got the taste for more, haven't you? And me and Barry have gone close.
There'll be more chances, man.
There will. And let's find out if Barry likes in this one, because, again, quite a classy little race, this.
Yeah, it's a tricky little contest, isn't it? Celeb Dalan is 3.45, 6 Mizard, the Zobo, 5.2 Galahad Quest, 6.4 Kilteely Bridge, Elixir the Nut 2, and 11.5 Magic Saint. He's the one nobody wants in the race, Magic Saint. But I like an old horse of mine, Dave, here, Galahad Quest, friend of the show. Anyone who watched the show will know I backed him 2 years ago in the Paddy Power when he was fifth. He was only beaten 5.5 lengths behind Midnight Shadow off 135. He's lost his way since, it has to be said, but he reappeared in October in Chepstow behind Flick Go By You. He ran okay there, respectively enough, and then that was his prep for the Paddy Power, really disappointed again. He's off 129 now. It's a tricky little race, but I have to say, Jane Williams' horses, I think they've really turned a corner. James Williams' horses. I think our last 5 runners, she's 3 winners in 2 seconds since the turn of the year. So I fancy this one of Jane Williams, and I fancy Gladiator Alan in the next in Sandown. Fingers crossed the rich vein of form that she finds herself in can continue. Yeah, Galahad Quest for me, please. 4.6 going to be a factor here. We'll have 25 quid win of 4.7 it is now.
Lovely job.
It's going to seem like I was looking over Barry's shoulder when we were all doing our notes, but he is a friend of the show, Barry. You're absolutely right for all the aforementioned reasons. That year you put him up in the Paddy Power, he travelled well for a long way, and I always thought to myself, right, there is a good one in this chap. He actually ran in it, didn't he, when we last saw him in November? Ground was probably a bit lively for him. He didn't quite fire there, but this is a lot easier. Even though there are some classy winners here. We've got Grade 2 hurdle winners here. Grade 1 winning hurdle winner. We've got a Tolworth winner in. Is Alexia Denuts winning Tolworth?
Yeah, he did, mate. Yeah.
There you go. It's all there, isn't it?
Well, obviously, Miss Side Zobo was a Grade 1 novice hurdler as well.
At Sandown. It's all there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won the Winter Novice Hurdle. He beat Bally Andy, who takes in the
Veterans
Veterans
yeah.
Choice. Great game, this.
All intertwining.
Yeah, so if Alexia Denuts wins this, I guess there's your story in the race. But I'm with Barry as well. And like I say, echoing everything he said about Jane Williams, it's all gone rather well, hasn't it, so far for Jane in the last couple of weeks. Certainly 2023 off to a flyer, as it is hopefully for Marlon. Marlon Allen joins us from Barb's. Hi from Barbados. I started with the bet, certainly red. I get about 3 more winners with that. All right, well done, Miles. We know that we've got some Barbasian.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, that could be our furthest afield viewer.
Ooh.
Have you seen further afield?
We've had Australia.
Oh, right, well, you can't beat that, can you?
Quite a week.
24 hours to get there on a
if
flight.
it was from Auckland, you could beat that.
Yeah, true, technically.
So you mugged yourself out there immediately. Jake
Well, that's
Galloway.
New Zealand, mate, so.
Jake Galloway brings it back and he says, hoping Alexia Denuts. There's your Tolworth winner then. Really looked like a right worldie, didn't he? A lot of people fancied him for that year's Supreme. He didn't make it, unfortunately. Can get the job done here. Back up in trip and a softer ground will hopefully help. And is it the pieces for the first time with this chip, or is it...
First time combo of it.
Yes, okay. No, he's never worn cheap pieces before. He's worn a tongue tie before, so sticking that on to hopefully help. And like you say, it's very much a class angle, but there are others in it. Kilteely Briggs is quite interesting. The McNeil family will be hoping that he qualifies for Cheltenham, I think. Whether it's the plate, I don't think he's quite an ultimate horse, which of course...
Nah, I don't think he quite gets 3 miles, is
Yeah.
he? Kilteely.
He's quite a classy
They've
horse,
tried
though,
it in
you
the
know.
past, but it's not really worked out.
A marker 142. He's gonna need
There's
everything to go his
a lot
way.
of classy horses there.
Yeah. Who'd you like?
I think at the prices, I'm happy to chance Messai de Zobo. I know he's first time out. I know he's 11.
Kingies.
And he's only raced 5 or 6 times since 2017.
This would be a lot easier than his last episode.
Yeah, it's just the handicapper drops these veterans, doesn't he? So he's not done anything for a long time. He's down to 140. He was rated 152, only 3 starts back.
Non-press, he had to tackle when he was last seen under rules.
Yeah, exactly. And I assume
Clarence
something.
next week, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
I would assume that something wasn't right if he hasn't been seen since that December 2021 race at Ascot.
I'm not sure what Kingy said.
I mean, it makes sense for King to have him fully revved up for this, doesn't it? Because he is fragile and he is getting on a bit.
He has got a good record fresh, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he won the Rising Stars, and that was after a layoff.
First time out, twice, huge
Classy
absences.
race, this, isn't it?
He's 2 from 2 over the course and distance. Beat obviously Protectorat. I mean, Protectorat's obviously improved quite a bit since then.
We've not mentioned the Fav yet.
If he's got enough ability, if he retains enough ability, he should be going close to winning.
Well, it's the right track to bring him back fresh out. Kingy can certainly do these things. Kate?
Yeah, no, I'm taking on the Fav. Like I say, we just mentioned Celeb Dalen. I just don't think this track suits him. I know he was highly progressive last year, but at that price, he's well worth taking on because he was bang up there towards the head of the market when he went to Cheltenham for the plate. But that race just goes to prominent races, and he's a hold-up horse. So you just thought...
Wasn't half fancy for that, wasn't
he
he?
was really well fancied for that. But you just thought it's just not going to play to his advantage with his hold-up style, and it didn't. And then he was running on in the finish. So
he was a 10-year-old
again, I think that
well,
will be against him here. Yeah, he's now 11. He's getting on. So I am also with Mezir de Zobo, who is also an 11-year-old, but so lightly raced for his age all the same. 2 from 2 at Wincanton. Hopefully be able to do the same again.
Oh, I love it when we're going in tandem. So I'll tell you what, a lot of people, are we off and running? We are, aren't we? Okay, great stuff. So here we are. Okay, so looks like Celebrity Dalen. Hobbs has got a very good record in this, I was going to say. So let's have a look at the Fav as Alexia Denuts goes straight in front of Kilteely Briggs. Now, Kilteely Briggs, I know they do like to get on with it with him. Galahad Quest poised lovely, around about 3 lengths off. That's what I like to see as they're over the third. Magic Saint out the back with Celeb Dalen and Mezir de Zobo as well. I was just going to say, I love it on the show where 2 go for one and 2 go for another.
Yeah,
doubles all round, please.
sort of teams, haven't we?
And after the week that darts had, the word double seems like it should be celebrated a bit more,
I
doesn't
reckon
it?
I've
Can
seen-
you have that from you at the end of a commentary? I can't speak.
I can't speak.
I've watched that back
just marvellous.
about
that, wasn't it?
40 times. I watched
so
it at the time live as well.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
people in
same.
racing that don't like it when you cheer loudly, like we do on this show. So it's good to see that got so much traction out there because they went berserk.
I'm just so glad Marder was commentating rather than John Part at the time. I mean, nothing against John Part, but
Flexing your commentary
Marder is like
knowledge.
the goat of darts media, isn't he?
All right, okay. Who's going to be the GOAT in this race? Barry Orr. We've seen the positions now. Has it changed much?
Galahad Quest is now favourite at 11 to 4, 3.755. Celeb Dalan 5.9. Mr. de Zobo 5.7. Kilteely Bridge and 7.6. Elixir the Nuts, the one that's off in front.
Okay, all right. So it's interesting to see they're going out straight again. Get him in a rhythm, isn't it? And Brendan Powell not messing around with this chap. Let's have a look at the ground then. It's the first time that we visited Wincanton this afternoon. I'm not sure if they had a race over fences so far. They've had a couple of others, and I know that the rain was there. You're basically going to struggle to get good ground. Finally, the jumps game is absolutely alive. The winter game, I should say. Right, okay, so they're over that absolutely fine. Just keep my eyes on Celeb Dalan out the back.
Not liking what you're seeing there, Dave, no?
Not really.
Just don't think this track should be suiting him, really.
Tell me about that. Expand on that a little bit more. He's obviously flopped here before then, has he?
No, he actually hasn't. He hasn't run here before, but I just don't think speed front runner tracks play to. I know he's won at Warwick, but last time out again, and like Cheltenham win the plate as well. It's just not a race where you can come from off the pace. And last time out, he proved that again when he was overturned as favourite because he was in the veterans race.
Magic Saint was a big drifter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Came in at the finish. He was out to 12 at one stage. He's a Betfair of 9.6, but he's one to keep an eye on here.
He is a course winner, and he's got Freddie Ginger on him, of course, who will be stealing 7 at some stage. I think we can all agree on that.
Jockey, you rate that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very much so. Okay, right, so we're getting to the point now where we should be putting our foot on the gas a little bit, and Elixir Donuts has got company up front. Kilteely Briggs, who has front run many a time in his career, he's now going for a little bit. A slightly caught out Celeb Dalan. Kate might be onto something there. Mazir de Zobo out
He's
the back.
favourite as well now, Monsieur de Zobo.
He hasn't moved a muscle yet, has he, Tom Cannon on him?
Yeah, he's getting a nice rhythm. Although, having said that, he's just lost a couple of lengths.
Let's see how he gets this one. Who's
lad.
jumping really well? I would not be on the fab now. Look at this all of a sudden. None of us
16
fancy
the
it.
fab.
Out to what, Barry?
16 he was there for second,
Wow.
11.5 now.
Yeah, see now Tom, all of a sudden they want to just get, if only they could look in their review mirror, these
lovely.
jockeys, because they'd see that the quicker they go, the more he'll be in trouble. But Galahad Quest still easing in. Now Tom O'Brien, he's tried to conjure something out of the favourite, so he's not totally done with yet, I wouldn't say, but this will be absolutely
Yeah,
crucial
he's
because
minute
yeah,
one.
okay, that was not a good jump there as well. So he's not enjoying it. Kate's given a great case of why he was a soppy favourite at the minute, and he's all the way out to nearly 50s at the moment. Kilteely Briggs takes it up. This is 5 out.
Messiah de
Long
Zobo
enough
was not too
there,
clean.
wasn't he?
Just wondering what Galahad's got under the bonnet. We'll find out. Messier is the class angle, isn't he? And he's creeping on the inside, confidently with Magic Saint as well coming into it. Celeb Dalan is still trying to get there. I think he's just going as fast as he can go to Fav, isn't he? But he's 6 lengths off him now. This is the real crucial fence. It's 5 out. Here we come to it. And now all of a sudden they're saying, right, if we're going to go, this is it. Elixir Nuts gets back to the lead.
Coming to 6 to 1.
Ring that, Mazir de Zobo. All
Go
of a
on,
sudden,
Mazir.
Galahad Quest caught flat-footed slightly. And the
Elixir.
The one in
favourite...
front.
Look at the
I know,
favourite all of a
Elixir.
sudden coming back in. Who took a chance on him at 50s? Because
Go on,
all of a
Messier.
sudden, the longer they go down this
Come
straight,
on,
and it
Messier.
is a long straight here at Wincanton, he will love it. Philip
Come on,
Hobbs has won
Messier.
with 3 of his last 6 runners in this race. Could it possibly be a 4?
Oh, it could
Here
be.
we go then.
Oh, no.
Let's get to it now. Look at this. Is marvellous. All
Clearly
upside,
seen
jumping
it.
3 out then.
Oh.
Galahad Quest coming back. He
we're
says
done.
this is a bit easier. I don't mind Dave Noonan, but at the moment, it is Jake Galloway's loving life because the Tolworth winner on this day all those years ago, Elixir Donuts, wheeling back the years, pings the second last as well. Over they go. Well, Kilteely Briggs has done too much. Celeb Dalan, that mid-race move cost him. They're coming to the last. All he's got to do is 5 lengths clear. Me and Barry bumping into one again. What's going on here? And over he goes. Galahad Quest won his race. Magic Saint, he'll come on loads for that in third for Nickel Stable. But this is a near make all. And isn't it great? So what year did he win the Tolworth? Let's go back, shall we?
2018, I reckon.
You're punting out
2019.
2018.
No, 2019.
2019.
No, I wouldn't, because it's 2023 now, yeah.
Like my tipping and Barry's at the moment. Close,
years, that
but no cigar. Barry, once again, let's hope we're not going to be Oliver Twist and ask him for more seconds at the end of the day.
Yeah, he was hands on jumping the second last, 25 to 1 on jumping the last. It was all over. Kilteely Bridge trade at a low of 4.2. 4 in running. Galahad Quest traded at a low of 2.72, Dave. 7-4 Galahad Quest. Your winner, Elixir de Nut, had a Betfair SP of 11.7. Magic Stain, straight to the festival, I would imagine, the Grand Annual. Would you race for him?
Yeah, and imagine Freddie might be getting the ride there as well if he keeps on him like that, wouldn't you? That would be a valuable 7 there. Yeah, okay.
Interesting. Mazir de Zobo pulled up. He's in the Clarence House in a couple of weeks. Wonder will he go there?
Talking about Clarence House, news that Shishkin's due for a spell on the sidelines, isn't he? He's made noise in his work.
Yeah, not too long though. I read it like fearing the worst sort of thing, but only 10 days. Like it's not gonna. He'll be back though, won't he?
It's just. Well, I do hope so.
That wasn't a terrible run in the Tingle Creek, was it? Really?
No, not really.
I mean,
although not what we were
hoping.
The horse that we thought he was this time last year. No, he's nowhere near it, is he?
Yeah, I reckon he could get back.
He's not even in the champion chase, is he? He's probably in the Ryanair and the Gold
No,
Cup.
Gold Cup.
I think he's going to do something nice over 2.5
and
miles.
of course, double blow for the stable because Lucia was supposed to be taking the Tolworth.
Yeah, and then her unsatisfactory scope as well. Then she was the antipode's favourite for the Tolworth.
She might have gone and had a go at Fassal had she won today. They might have been tempted to do it like a butterfly and try and do the mares thing.
Well, they've got everything sort of else sewn up for the mares novices then and all, haven't they? So. And the mares hurdle then itself.
He'll now, he being Nicky Henderson, will now have to probably, you would imagine with the owners, go for something a little bit, well, obviously easier. Maybe the Sydney Banks, something like that, if she went for that, if you've taken a chance on her. Because I think a lot of people would have fancied her today if she'd have turned up to beat Authorised Speed. And that is coming up. Sure, yeah. That is coming up at 2.25. So look, a bit of a blow for the Henderson yard. And Nicky hasn't even got one in it this year, has he? I don't think. Of course, Constitution Hill on this day last year. That's when we all started to believe that we had something very special coming up. But listen, a lot of people saying, it's Wincanton on telly on Saturday. No real top races, no great action. They're all like that, the finishes. Then imagine just turning on and watching a race like that with all upsides, 3 out. Marvellous, isn't it? That's what we want to see. Really good race.
Quickly all get strung out though.
We've got trickier races coming up, The 205 looks tricky, doesn't it? And the final race, is it the 240 that we're covering as well? No, it's the 3:15, I think, isn't it? Yeah, probably is. Anyway, look, we're going back to Wincanton at some point. Are we getting any closer to knowing what is going to be the price for authorised speed in the Tolworth, Barry, before we go back to Sandown? I really fancy one in the next before we find out what Barry fancies. What's the market looking at for authorised speed at the moment? 2.25. You said Tamuris was on the drift. Is it because this guy's just being backed off the boards?
Yeah, he's very strong, and it's also because Arctic Brazil as well is a bit of a negative, but he's into sub 6-4 now. He's 2.46 on the exchange. Amherst is a 3-1 chance, and it's 11-2 Arctic Brazil.
All right, Grade 1 action coming up. Could we yet see something that's going to really make connections of Fassal Vega, of course, the odds-on for the first race at Cheltenham in the Supreme? We need some opposition, don't we? We need some opposition. Those people that are thinking he's way too short, bit workmanlike at Christmas, it's all out there. Champion Bumballs, was he going to find it a little bit sticky up the hill? Would he be a little bit too slow for something coming? We need the challengers to start mounting. Could it yet come from the Tolworth today? Of course, authorised speed, 5th in the bumper, wasn't he? So ground to make up there, but he looks like he's a very, very talented animal. Get your tips in for that. Get your tips in for the next race. It is the 150 at Sandown. It is my bet of the day as well, Barry, but I'll let you go first.
So Ferrero Bamboo's your favourite at 3.75. Cargreen Rock 4.85. 7 Grey Diamond, a little bit weak. 7.4 Gladiator Alan. 11.5 Dreams of Home. 9-2 Excitations. Now that's an interesting one because that beat our last winner, Elixir de Nut, in last time out. So obviously his price has contracted somewhat, but yeah, I like Gladiator Alan in it. I just mentioned the form of the stable. Jane Williams and Galahad Quest didn't do anything to damage that. He wore a tongue tie for the first time last day. He's in a hood and a tongue tie today. And he's had his win done previously. So obviously he has had his issues. But he's off 123 here. And I go back to his novice chase win in Exeter a while back when he beat Elixir de Nuts, funny enough. He seems to be pulling in several strands of form into this race. But he hasn't gone unbacked either. He's into 13-2 now from around the 8-1 mark. We're going to back him, please, at 7.6 on the exchange. Happy to be a price taker as well at that 13-2 mark, please, Kate.
Cool.
Gladiator Allen.
25 win. Done.
Let's hope that the hood works for you. Certainly, you're right. The Quest did run well. I think she's got a great chance in the next Jane Williams as well. They've had it's just all coming right recently. Kieran is on, of course.
Nicely done, nicely accented. Yes.
Have we had the word?
No, he just literally last thing he said this morning was, "Geez, my lad's being backed."
Oh, is that right? Okay.
As he left the door.
Pressure's on. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least he's aware.
Unlike these jockeys to feel the pressure in it. Tom Leach comes on. Leachy, good to have you out there. It's absolutely last chance for Frero Bamboo. If it doesn't win today, I'm done with him. I think a few of you out there are feeling like that, aren't you? This is the day, gents, ladies. This is the day. Frero Bamboo. The old bamboo and the old bamboo I shall be singing when he comes up. I will not be able to spake if this chap comes over the last
What did Wayne say, spake?
Well, we're not really sure why, but it's now become a thing, isn't it? We love it. Charles Carter says, along the same lines, if Frero can't win today, or he can't win this, I'm done backing it. Listen, what are you all getting desperate for out there? Look, this is quite straightforward, right? This guy loves Sandown. He's had a win in a second, like a lot of other horses in here that we know. He started off at Ascot with a decent second on ground that he wouldn't have been really for him. Behind Time White. Time White loves good ground. He bounced off it that day and he beat him in a Grade 3 when he resumed in late October. Then he went to Ascot in the Boot Hill race and tried to make all. And he just basically teed it up for them. His Sandown form with Dolos off a mark of 140 is absolutely fine. And when he won it the time before, it was like he looked... I remember he spiked. We covered the race on the show and he spiked about 3 out. And then coming to last, it was like he just got involved.
Yeah.
Heavy ground for him. Everything is perfect. He was going to run in the December Gold Cup, which was, abandoned. The ground wouldn't have been all right for him there. But I could see what they're trying to do with this horse, Venetia and the team. He's 2 mile around Ascot is too sharp for him. Here, absolutely ideal on soft ground.
He'll probably step up in trip late in the season, but I mean, you're going to have to stay a bit further if you're really going to get home.
The mark is high enough, I think, but he's been dropped £2 for that last one. And like I say, they were just trying something different with him. And again, we covered that race, and I'm like, I'm not sure this is the way to go with him, but I can see what they're doing. Then when I saw him over the 2 mile 4, I got it. Sometimes you just see the race programming and you're like, all right, I think I've got this horse. He's basically an ideal 2-2 horse, and when it's heavy and the mud is flying, Charlie Deutsch is going to love this. He was second in the first race that we covered. This is your winner, says Dave Orton at the 150. This will be better the daytime.
Says Robbie Wilders as well. Maybe not better the day, but just basically echo exactly what you said. I think you covered it all quite well. I mean, you're bringing top-class handicap form to the table, isn't he? Third in the Grand Annual on heavy. Yeah. There's another really good run on heavy last season.
Of course, it's a pretty good field, though, isn't it? He's up against. We shouldn't.
We should touch upon
don't go all in, guys, out there.
Purple Jumper unearthed a decent stat about Lucinda Russell.
Purple Jumper.
Keith Melrose.
Purple Jumper.
That's one for the people that come in every day. Although there's not many.
Well, the people that watch these shows know he usually wears mauve as well.
Point, yeah. I mean, stop wearing.
He's a Hearts fan, isn't he? So
he wears a yellow one sometimes. Lucinda Russell doesn't send too many horses to Sandown.
I'm looking for a record. She's 3 from 15.
And 2 from 4 this season.
Yeah.
So and 900-mile round trip. Corrigan Rocks making.
So we were laughing yesterday, saying the camper van would be getting going yesterday to get down there. She goes down with the dogs and Scoo, doesn't she? So she's going quite a long way. Grey Diamond is very interesting in here as well. Donald McCain brings one down as well, Dreams of Home, who's finally realising what he's all about, I think. But is there going to be a bit of a pace burn up here, Kate Tracey?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest danger, which may well suit Frero Bamboo then, because like you say, he is one of those horses where, for all that he seems to be getting better at dealing with the pace of these 2 mile races, he is a horse that can just sort of drop himself away though as it goes. But yeah, there's enough pace on this Corrigan Rock. We're expecting to go forwards, Excitations, Dreams of Home, all likely to be going forwards then within this. But I just don't know if they are necessarily going to come back to them in these testing conditions, provided they keep it pretty sensible. So I didn't really know what to do with this race. I've been with Frero Bamboo for as long as I can remember, and I'm finally jumping off that cliff. So there you go. There's opened the door for him for everything to come good, because I do think this ground, still think he wants further, but with all of these conditions now, this probably is going to be the time then for him. But I thought, you know what, I can't side with him again, can't bring myself to do it. So I'm going with the outsider of the field, the last day. to give it its correct pronunciation and
I was
accent.
going to say that was the Cornish day there,
Oh,
was
no.
it? It's the Cornish guy that's coming out.
Yeah, we're crossing between Irish and Cornish here, but yeah, he's not an each-way play for me. He is a something or bust.
Yeah, no, I like this, Kate. I agree with you. Yeah,
so hopefully he'll come
good. Should we just
good.
expand on that a little bit more? There's something of a misconception for newcomer punters, novice punters out there, if you like, that if you think you see something at a big price, you have to back it each way because it's got a minimal chance of winning. It's actually got less of a chance of coming in the 3, probably, actually, if it's a big price. If it's going to run well, you fancy it, right? So you back it win and place. Barry tells us all about that all the time. That's right, Barry, right? We go 1 in the win and have a little bit on saving on the place as well. If you do fancy yours at a big price.
Yeah, you can always check out the sportsbook and see if there's additional places as well. A big price one, often in races, if there's 3 places, traditionally they'll pay 4 or 5 places where there's 4. There's even 6 places in one of the big races today. But yeah, on the exchange, you can bet in the win market, obviously, and then you can bet in the 2, 3, 4, 5 places in some of the markets as well. So it's all there on both exchange and sport.
All right, so there you go on the outside. And listen, this is again a precursor for the next race at Sandown when Connections have a very unexposed Lastro Boy takes in the Tolworth.
It could be anything.
The last day's a horse I quite like. And I don't think he's quite hit the heights they thought he was going to.
No, I don't think he has. And I think that the last day when he won, that was his day. That was his big day in the sun. I think he's teed up for that. But off of this £8 higher mark, on the RPR he posted, it still sees him remain feasibly treated. He has a good record fresh. And I know he fell beforehand when I thought he was going to win, to be honest, at that stage. So that was disappointing. But yeah, he's a horse where he's not entirely straightforward. So for me, he's win or nothing. So
Win or bust.
Fair play, you can't put someone off for 1 at 30.
Who would you be cheering on, Kate,
So
if
win.
the last day and Adam Wedge jumped the last upside, Gladiator Alan and Kieran Gedden?
We're all thinking it, Barry. You've just basically said about the elephant in the room. We saw what happened that time at Ascot with Monsieur Lecoq when, I mean, that was one of the that will go down in Racing Post history, that will. But you're right. If you're upsides at the last, listen, you're either eating gruel or you're going out for Japanese tonight, aren't you? Which I know is your favourite.
Japanese
That's
style.
your favourite cuisine, is it?
It is my favourite. It's rather remember. Yeah, would you remember this stuff? You remember I was Ravenclaw and I like Japanese food.
Well, no, I remember you saying you had like sushi takeaway.
Yeah.
That's your favourite meal?
Right.
My
Yeah.
wife's the same.
Always say
All right,
that's
so the
cold.
last day then. All right, but
always
yes,
cold.
if you don't know,
wanna have a
Kate
cold
does partner up with Kieran Gethings, who has the lucky ride on Barry's tip.
Do you ever call him
Name's
Ronnie?
Gladiator Elon.
Do you call him Ronnie?
Ronnie, yeah.
Hopefully he'll be nice and positive on him today and let him make the running because he stays obviously 2.5 miles well.
He's lined up
So
there.
I'd like to see them make plenty of use of him today.
Well, they've right up there. It looks like it's going to be. Apparently, none of us have noticed the winner tune. You've been hanging there. We are with you. Grey Diamond. It looks like, again, this looks like probably a target from Sam Thomas, I would imagine. Sam Thomas had 1 runner so far in 2023, and he very, very nearly pulled it off in the feature on handicap at Cheltenham with Stolen Silver. He ran a blinder behind, what's it called, the River Horse. Midnight River.
Midnight River,
I want to say Mystic River for some reason. No, because I tipped it. I love that horse.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, you're red in the face when he.
I was red in the face. I was like his silks.
Yeah, were you celebrating as well?
I was doing a Wayne. I couldn't speak. And we have got our senior producer Kieran Thelder's just messaged me saying what that is about actually, and it's a very
Come on,
good point.
Kieran, kick on. Steal 5 or 6 lengths right from the get-go.
I love this when you work with Barry. You know,
Think of Kate and the Katsu curry.
Yeah.
Kieran. Kate and the Katsu curry.
I'll tell you what, there are other availables out there, but she would never be seen in a Wagamama's, Barry. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. I cannot see Kate in one of them. I'm afraid you're going to have to get your wallet out when you go take Miss
basic
Tracey
stuff
out
for
for
me.
dinner. Right, okay, all right. So Ferrero Bamboo are definitely going to... Oh, I don't know. Coral Green Rock, the hat-trick chaser, putting pressure on for favouritism now, Barry. So they take another turn.
Yeah, well, there's nothing between Ferrero Bamboo and Carrageen Rock. It's 4.3 each at 2, 5.9 Grain Diamond, 6 now. He's very weak, actually. 5-6 Gladiator Alan. We backed him at 7-6. So he's come in 2 picks. Excitations we haven't spoken about. 8.4. Elixir the Nut formed there again.
Yeah, last time he won, he beat, of course, the Tolworth winner who we just saw hosing up at Wincanton. We go back to Wincanton for the 205. We're cooking with gas now here on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Robbie Anti-Post Wilders,
Cheers, mate.
Kate Tracey and Barry Orr from Betfair, the big hitter himself. And just there's interesting tactics here. What's Kieran doing? He wants to keep this chap away.
Yeah, he's a bit quirky, this lad, and hence why he's got the hood on now as well. Yeah, just keep him away, try and keep
He wants
him
to get off in
settled.
front
Yeah,
and make off.
and now tucking in.
He definitely wants to make all. So this is first time he's run off a mark this shy. I can tell you in a little while. Just looking down at Kieran's form, he had a winner in the week, didn't he?
123
On New Year's
for
Day
Lampard.
at Exeter, didn't he? Of course.
Good old Marsh.
Marsh Wren, yeah.
That
All right, so
chaotic
come on, they're taking their time to get off here. Actually, it's only just gone 150, actually. We've been circling down to start for a long time. And have you got the flyer up front? Well, Cora Green Rock and Derek Fox are thinking, no, I'm going to go on with it as well. So joint favourites just about on the off we had. But Cora Green Rock, hang on a second, what's going on here? Yeah, whoa! No,
Harry, don't do that to us. You've got it like 2 seconds before we can see it. Don't do that to my
She
heart.
wants to eat
Fairly
Japanese tonight.
screwed
Not
up,
going to
didn't
A&E, doesn't she, I think? But Kieran had a right look at that first fence.
It's the
That's for
2
sure.
half
better.
start.
That's better.
That's more like it. He's on the outside. I think when you're on a horse that likes to get on with it, and you know you're probably not going to get the lead, and this is what we kind of tried to highlight for you. Loads of pace on paper in this race. I'm hoping that will set up for Frero Bamboo. You want to keep the horse on the outside, don't you? Because obviously he doesn't like the hustle and bustle of horses in his face and all that sort of stuff. So Kieran's got a game plan here.
Yeah, and it's never that much of a negative at Sandown anyway, especially when the ground is as it is. I mean, more so on the hurdle track. God, you want to be coming wide on the hurdle track, but similar enough on the chase track anyway. That bit wider and giving yourself that bit more room. Yeah, especially at the 2 mile start at Sandown, it's always a bit dodgy, isn't it? Do you remember Altior every year?
Yes, yeah, walked through it, didn't he? Absolutely.
Every single time.
You've seen quite a few. I remember Mr. Coffee doing it. Do you remember as
Yes.
well when he ran in that?
Yeah.
in
The Derby
Group 1?
pace they're going 32 miles an hour, 34 miles an hour.
Hey, this is heady stuff here.
They're walking to the finish line.
I know we're trying to get a flyer in 2023, but the jockeys aren't reading the script. Now, this is going to suit Frero Bamboo, I think, if he can keep in the jumping. He's a little bit sticky there,
Not
Robbie.
the best leap there,
This is
no.
what he does, isn't he, Frero Bamboo? Just, oh no, I'll just drop
You
myself
want a
out
horse
of it.
that stays here when they're going that clip.
I'll be happy with this. Don't you worry about it. I'll be happy with this. A Gladiator at Allen, then for Barry in third. Cora Green Rock being taken on by Excitations up front. Grey Diamond is nicely poised in fourth. Dreams of Home, I thought he might want a bit more of the lead, but no, Brian Hughes has got him in midfield. The last day, I should say, for Kate Tracey out the back. And Frero Bamboo just starting to warm up now. Come on then, the old Bamboo.
Yeah,
right,
Fero's
we're on the
looking
far
good.
side. Barry, we've got one favourite that's being taken on up front. We've got one favourite out the back. Which has the Exchange managed to separate into outright?
The one in front, 3.85. Ferrer Bamboo, 4.4. Grey Diamond, quiet horse in the race, 4.6. 44 Gladiator Alan. He was a bit sticky at 2 down the back and he dropped right out of contention, but kind of creeping back into it now.
All right, well, they're all covered by around about 4 lengths at the minute, so no panic at the moment. Now, the last day, and Adam Wedge, all of a sudden, Kate, is getting right involved in this.
Yeah, he is. All of a sudden, he's given himself some room on the outside there as well the last day, and yeah, he's just slowly getting his way into it. He's touch wood has actually been jumping all right the last day.
tell you
Now,
what,
unlike Gladiator Allen, whose jumping frailties have unfortunately been coming to the fore again.
And we're trying to stay in it, aren't we, on Frero Bamboo?
Frero.
Rob? This is the last of the railways, though, so this is 4 out, and this is where you would think that the front runners are going to start to stretch. The Gladiator
go, back on the
Allen,
bridle.
he is all of a sudden not enjoying life, not totally done with, but definitely Kieran has got his work cut out here. I think we're going to see a great finish here, guys. We've got 2 lengths covering the entire field. Cora Green Rock, Excitations as you were. Dream of Home, I suppose that he is the one, isn't he, that's made up the ground he's getting into. On the inside is Grey Diamond. Now, Frero Bamboo's got to get going at some point, isn't he? We're coming up to the world favourite
just
contest.
needs to keep in it, and he is, I think.
All right, okay. So, and again, you talk to the jockeys about this. They think that sometimes they can kick a bit too soon here at this track. Adam Wedge continues. What's the last day into now?
The
10?
last day's running better than I thought.
Come
it was.
on, the old Bamboo. This is
Excitations
pretty
in front.
much what I wanted to see.
Excitation, now
All
taking
right,
over.
okay. So again, it's just hard work, isn't it? If you're on the Gladiator, Frero Bamboo's going to need to get going at some point. Excitations. Here he goes. The next into net form. 2 out. He takes it up. Who have we got there? Someone's
Grey
got.
Diamond.
Oh my
Grey
goodness me!
Diamond.
Grey Diamond got it all wrong. Frero Bamboo's
over,
giving
lads.
himself too much to do, I think, because Excitations and Pam Sly, Jack Andrews in the plate. 3. Honestly, like he's just joined in. Up he goes. This is Tolworth 2019 form all over again.
Yeah.
It's here today. It's amazing how things happen. All over, bar the shouting. 101. Pam Sly absolutely takes them apart. Really, not a lot happened in that race. We thought there'd be plenty of pace. It stood up. He was always up there, wasn't he? What a win that is. I'll tell you what, he's a horse that is absolutely peaking now, the 8-year-old. Cora Green Rock, not disgraced. Ferran Bobo, he just wanted them to come back to him, and he couldn't get the lead. All right, Barry, let's come to you. Story of the race. I guess they knew some way out.
They did, for sure, Dave. Grey Diamond was one that was trading short when he came down 2.30, so just 11 to 8. Harrogate Rock trade at a low of 3.0, which is bang on 2 to 1. Your winner, Excitations, had a Betfair SP of 10.5. Hit a high in running of 22, but They're lifting the nut form coming to the fore.
Once again, I've actually, thanks to James Stevens, our roving reporter, our West Country correspondent now, he's been in all bar name up until this year, well deserved. Steve-O says, from Joe Tizard, who's his best mate, he said he won the Tolworth, this is Elixir de Nuts, the previous horse, and at this time of year, and he won at Plumstead, he just loves January. It's lovely, nice to get him back. He's fragile, but physically we've got him in a great place. I thought he'd win at Doncaster, he just got beat. This race was ideal. He likes to dominate these. The handicap will have his say, but I think they're going to probably have a look at the Grand Annual for him, I would imagine. So great to see the grey back and that form advertised handsomely there as well. Excitations takes out the second race then at Sandown. We are T-minus half an hour away from the Tolworth. That comes up next. We switch to the hurdles course. And if you thought it was heavy there, my lord, on the chase track, it's going to be très souple, as they say in France. And who have you got on top there? We've got to go back to Wincanton though for the 205. It's a pretty tricky card so far for Jane Williams this afternoon. She's had a horse go close in the previous one. It didn't fire for her there. I'm hoping it's third time lucky here, Barry, with, Intern de Civilo. But who do you like in this?
Yeah, just looking at a rerun of that race there. You're lucky Kieran's coming home in one piece. I'll tell you that. He's a very sketchy last jump at the last fence there, Kate. He jumped it sideways. Gladiator Alan. So
it's Wagamamas.
Miraculous man.
I'm going katsu curry all day.
Helmet's doing the trick, that's for sure. The 205 in Wincanton. Another crick 4.6. 5-1 Intern de Civilo. 6-2 Midnight Miz. Demas is 6.2, same price, not available. Native Robin 15-17. Caught of the King. I got a chance, Caught of the King. It's a race I really had no strong opinion in.
Same.
But just I remember him last June when he won 2 races in Newton Abbott. Obviously, he's come back in Taunton and he was beaten out of side. He was beaten 35 lengths last time in Taunton behind Midnight Midge, the reopposing Midnight Midge. But just to band these handicappers, like he's top weight 11 stone 10 off 126, and your bottom weight is 118. So there's not a whole lot between them really outside of the field. We're just going to play in the place market, please, Kate. There's 3 places here on the exchange where we can back them at around the 4-1 mark. We're going to have 25 quid on them to finish in the first 3 at 3.95, which is 3-1. Sorry.
Lovely. Sorry, Barry. Was that Course Over King? I couldn't quite make out what you were saying then previously.
Auto the King in the 3 places, £25 win at 3.95.
Corto the King,
Yeah, perfect.
3-place market.
Perfect. And 25 quid, 3 places. Got it.
You're shocked because it's not just Barry and yourself that can put up outsiders, is it? We're going to have to go at it as well. Seemingly the rags are popular today. All right, listen, Barry, you're absolutely right. This is a pretty horrible race, isn't it? I think to try and absolutely be confident on
look at
anything
that market.
Destilil.
5 horses separated by less than 2 on the exchange.
I mean, the more I look at that Destilil price, I haven't put him up, but he was favourite yesterday, mainly because it's Venetia chasing a hat-trick, but he's run twice at this track, including in this race last year in a massive flop. And I said to Kills yesterday, Paul Keeman, we chatted about this race, I said, why are they coming back here? They've got all these races to run in. And if they don't think this is the place for him, why on earth are they going here? He's hot. So he's out to 5-1 now. I'm going to have a little saver on him. But on top, I've got Intern de Civilo, who I don't think we've seen the best of so far in this sphere. He was a pretty decent juvenile hurdler, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he really was.
He got a bit clean in his races.
Yeah, he did. Like you say, he was a bit keen, but he was ridden forwards then. And it was really interesting that when he went over fences in his 2 starts, on both occasions he's been ridden in completely in a different light. He has been held up on both of those occasions and basically just hasn't been put into the race. So whether or not that was just to give him some more experience, we know that horses from this yard, basically they do their learning on the job. We were speaking about this earlier on in relation to bumpers, actually, and the fact that the Jane Williams yard, they don't run the horses in bumpers because they like them to do their learning on the job. And if they still are learning, then they get dropped down the handicap as well. And I think that's what's happened with Intern de Civilo. Hopefully they will ride him more prominently and revert back to those tactics now, because I agree, I think he is very well treated now that he's taken a right walk back down the handicap over fences. Yeah,
he's rated £2 higher over hurdles. He's got some very good juvenile form as well. Piper, he got stuffed by, but before that he looked pretty good. The Braddy G, look, is following in Barry. And he says, Corto King for the informed J. Tiz. I'll throw Brendan Powell in there as well. Of course, they're on the quick quick double as well, so that's 16-1. Could be under a bit of pressure. A horse that was in a really good way and has won here a little bit back, trying to bounce back. Other horses in here are interesting, Rob. Old Native Robin absolutely adores this gaff. It's just a case of whether he's a proper gaffer, this bloke. He's the gaffer of Wincanton. Rex Dingle, he loves this place. It's just, he hasn't shown much so far. He's now 13, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised if he led.
On my mind.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he came back to form. I'm going to get you his form figures up, but the last time he ran here, he won off a £1 higher mark, and he has won at big prices before, and they're keeping him going, this guy. Let's have a look at his form. Well, you tell us your tip, please.
Yeah, I'll have a bit of another crick. When I looked at it, he was a much bigger price, but I'm not going to desert him. I mean, he won it. It's quite a fairly obvious case. He's £3 lower than when winning it last year, and he actually had a better prep run by some way before winning it last year. I know he's a year older, and first-time blinkers is interesting for also old. We actually got no data on Noel Williams' horses with first-time blinkers, so that's neither here nor there. It's quite a rare move.
It's become a bit quiet for Noel Williams, isn't it? He's got where's that decent mare that he had? I think it was second to Love Envoy at Embois at Sandown. In the Tim Sider colours. Yeah, I was expecting she'd do good things. Maybe she's
oh my God, that's going to annoy me now. I'm going to look it up.
Really good at training the mares, isn't he? Native Robin, by the way, the 13-year-old, the teenager in the pack, as we see, somewhat headstrong at times in terms of like strut his stuff out onto the track. His last 5 races at Wincanton read 1-2, 1-1-1.
Serious form.
Hot.
13 though.
Speech bubble. There you go.
You have to. Speech bubble. Well done, Kate Tracey.
That's the one.
That's going to annoy me if I didn't find that out.
First time blinkers is interesting, isn't it? And you have to imagine this has been another Cricks Cup final. He's a very strong travelling
that's what
horse.
I mean. He normally takes a run or two to get going, so everything's probably led towards this. So
yeah, everything's cited towards this after winning it last year.
It's going to be tight though.
And it was soft ground last year, wasn't it, when he won?
Yeah, and also
decent ground
he's actually way better off with Destilil, who was well beaten this last year.
I just wonder why they're coming back here with Destilil. I just don't get it.
Well, he must be thriving. Well, he is thriving. Obviously, he's on a hat trick.
He's one that's Fosslas, so it's not like he has to go right-handed.
No, but he jumps out to his left, which is the weird part, which is why, you know, when he goes and gains those 2 wins, back-to-back wins at Ludlow, you're sort of thinking, but he's a horse that jumps to his left, but both of those are pretty soft contests, though. I think you do have to take both of those with a massive pinch of salt, you know. I mean, the only 2 rivals to contend with on the penultimate start, and yeah, I just think it's very wishy-washy form, really.
We saw the pace hold up at Wincanton in our previous race that we went to. Will it happen here again? That's the question. Because Corto, the king, the outsider for Basil, he likes to. He probably on paper he ought to probably lead them, isn't he?
Yeah, he probably should be making, or like I say, just from what we saw in our last race then at Wincanton as well. Then for the same connections, if they can get onto the front end of a pace that won't have escaped many people's attentions, let alone the winning connections from the last race, and they've got what seems to be the only likely out-and-out front runner then within it. Yeah, Corto the King may not be a bad way to go at the front runner by Wincanton.
Favourite West Country track? This is probably
Newton Abbot.
Oh, of course, the Abbot.
Yeah.
They once sent me to Newton Abbot. They.
On what grounds? In what capacity? What were you doing there?
They sent me down when I was learning the reporting game. Back in the day.
Did you used to?
I didn't know. It was like a 7-hour drive for me.
Well, did you used to like interview people and stuff?
Yeah, of course
I didn't actually know that.
I've been around for a long time.
I actually did a bit of that as well.
Did you?
I used to hate it.
You would have been dreadful. You would have been awful. You found your niche.
I've got to be careful what I say, but I did hate it. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
I just wanted to go home.
Yeah, I used to do it in the days of dial-up. I was sitting next to like the likes of Eddie the Shoe and Jonathan Neeson and sort of say, "Do you mind if I just lean across you?" And Neeson and Lingfield.
Oh, for internet.
My God, he used to usually sort of leave.
How far back we go? I didn't realise you're that old. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I used to. Yeah. We went out and did that, but they took me down to Newton Abbot, and I thought they were having a laugh, and I hit traffic on the M1.
Far enough away from it.
Whatever it was coming back.
Take you to get down there.
It took me about 14 hours to get home. I remember because it was all at a standstill. I've never been back obviously since. Unless someone wants to fly me down, I ain't going. Basically.
No, because in the summer, going that direction at any time is just not
Taunton.
Oh, yes.
Sending people very
the
far
West
away.
Country lot, right?
I was annoyed enough getting sent to Chelmsford. I mean, like the first racecourse reporting shift I ever did, I was sent to Chelmsford. The trains weren't running from Liverpool Street, so I had to get an Uber, and the company expensed it. And of course, Ubers aren't running.
You've been costing us ever since.
So I ended up having to expense about 220 quid.
Wow.
So that wasn't a good investment.
Well, you had a bit of a touch because you go to Chelmsford on the train, and it's you go out from Victoria or something, don't you? I think on Liverpool Street, something like that.
Yes, Liverpool Street.
Is it Liverpool Street? Yeah. And you go out and you get there and you're like, right, brilliant. And you've still got like another half an hour to go. This is where Rob used to live, isn't it? Bleak, nowhere.
I won't be going back, mate, that's for sure.
All right. Favourite West Country track is Wincanton, mine. Who's your favourite in this, Craig Ruddock? Craig, good to see you back. Could be a few vying for the lead here. Not available? Yeah, absolutely. Another one that when you see not available in the race, Craig, you think that one might like to be getting on with it as well. He only ran a week ago, didn't he, of course, at Newbury?
You know what the quotes are about not available is that he's a very slow 2-mile chaser. And it's a bit strange, really, because when you see where he's done his winning at, you think, well, he can't be that slow because he's managed to do his winning at Ludlow, speed track. But basically what the quotes were is that he needs a real jumping test for track because it puts his rivals on the back foot, allows him to basically just plod around over the trip. So Wincanton, proper jumping test, as we know. So again, it may well suit him if his rivals do start making little mistakes here and there.
All right, okay, so this is going to be another fun race. If we had the finish that we had in our previous race to 130, we're in for a treat again. Barry, we've been speaking. Another quick, still favourite to repeat last year's win.
Yeah, just a 4.3. The Comfort Not Available, who we just spoke about, ran on the show last week in Newbury and just beat out Mongol Emperor. Remember, Dave, who we wanted to be placed?
Yeah, friend of the
show. Just beat him into third. Just beat him for third place, not available. He's at the 4.6 now, 5.8 in turn to Savola, 7.2 or 6.4 then to Zal, 7.2 Midnight Midge.
All right, okay, this is going to be fun then. Thanks, Barry. We are with you until the 3:35. We are 15 minutes away from the Grade 1, the Tolworth, which is, should be the strongest point of the British Legion going to the Supreme Novice Hurdle on the opening day of the Cheltenham Festival, which we are all counting back from now. Let's face it, aren't we? We've been doing it all jump season. So much said about this jump season at the start. Dry ground, small fields, unprecedented weather. Listen, no excuses now. Let's get it on. Christmas was an absolute treat.
Warming up now, isn't it?
It's warming up. The greatest game.
Took longer than normal.
We've got the Winter Million coming up. Yeah. Great press about that, by the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's quite a good initiative.
22 quid for it. Yeah, absolutely. They've got a great new hospitality team gone into Lingfield. They're going to sort it all out there. And that is going to be a very, very popular initiative.
Massively so. Yeah,
Nicky
it's always
was
a
on Get In last night, wasn't he? And he obviously said about, make it cheaper for race goers. Absolutely echo all that. Dublin Festival, it's only €44 to get into for the 2 days. What are the rest of the tracks doing? It's absolute madness.
Come on, let them go. Let them know.
Yeah, that was well, you're not allowed to canter in. So if Posty was here, he'd be getting his sort of like
his rule book out.
I don't see why
judicial hat on and saying they're not actually allowed to do that. You're not allowed to canter in, so it's
they're all doing it though. There's no.
Thankfully, they behaved this time, and they're away, and it didn't really inconvenience anyone. Perhaps Shane Quinlan not the happiest about it, and I guess Corto the King not getting a run as well.
In turn is down.
In turn's gone to the first. Me and KO. Okay, I'm out the race. No good whatsoever.
At the first.
I've had a couple of seconds.
Nothing more frustrating, is it?
And he was jumping off prominently as well.
Yeah,
he was jumping off as we wanted him to.
There you go, the young horse. He lacked the experience, didn't he? And there was a hustle and bustle, and he got it all wrong. So in terms of not Jane Williams' date so far, that's for sure. Another crick though on the inside. He's got a lovely position. Now this is interesting. This is also I had a save on because I just thought it was a silly price. I know he flopped in the race last year, but I just can't work out why you would come back to this. They obviously think he wasn't right that day. He comes in on a hat trick and Destilil now leads Native Robin. And if you're leading the old boy around Wincanton, you're going a bit of a clip, that's for sure. Midnight Midge is in third place. Looking out the back, Corto the King observes them from rear, and I suppose you have to say the money mover of the race, not available, and last year's winner, another quick observe from rear. Barry, drama at the first.
Yeah, very much so. Interesting. Conor Star usually likes to be up there, but he just can't go to gallop with them. He's off his feet there. They're going a fair clip. 4.3 Midnight Midge. Another crick out to 6.2. He seems to be struggling a little as well. Not available, your favourite in running at 3.9.
I love it how you call him Corto Star there, Barry. I tell you, if we've got Corto Star here, we need to be getting on, don't we?
Did I say Corto Star?
You did, yeah. I won't be so easy to doing it. I won't be putting another 0 on Corto Star in this race, that's for sure. But at the moment, he's got a bit of work to make up already. Along with last year's winner, another crick. Not available then in midfield, catching the eye. He was the gambler of the race, Matt Shepherd. Third behind Gamma Ray, very progressive young chaser for Venetia Williams. This on show last week saw that. They're coming back out, he's the money horse. But at the moment, the old boy, Native Robin, takes them up. And again, there's a bit of a vie for the lead, isn't there? Destilil backed off that one. Not available, goes ahead of him into second. Rob, what's catching your
another
eye?
crick is done, boy, I'd say.
The blinker's not working.
It's not working, nah.
Headgear not for everyone,
Your boy Destilil looking right there.
Yeah, sometimes can make him a bit more sour, if anything. Sometimes they can resent it. And when he's now a 10-year-old, the old boy doesn't seem to be enjoying any part of it.
All right, okay. So here we are. What we're about. It's always hard to know when you're doing the close-up comments and the in-running game at Wincanton, where 5 and 6 out. I think this is 6 out. But you know what I'm like.
Oh, there's a lot of them at it, isn't there?
Yeah, there are. This is Native Robin's now feeling the pinch slightly, and it's the gamble of the race now. I'll tell you what, Corto King, the harder they go, the more he can.
Oh, don't you put the mockers on Corto
King. I'll tell you what, Corto Star's getting involved here, Barry.
Leave it out, will you? Leave it out.
We'll tell you what, Corto Star's flying through the field as we expected here. What's this that's going backwards? One of them's going. Is that Destilil?
Destilil, yeah, just dropping away.
Not my day so far, but will it be Barry's yet?
The one in front, wouldn't you? The way he stayed on in Newbury.
Yes, not available.
Give a slow 2-mile chaser.
Which, if you see him up front with 4 to jump, it's the place you want him, and he soared over that. Did not available. All of a sudden, Court of the King just shakes a little reins.
Midnight Midge, the danger.
Which one? What Midgie? Midgie's the danger, is he?
Danger.
For Philip Hobbs and Ben Jones. Yeah, Austin won his last 2, came unstuck last time, but Ben Jones fancies his chances of picking this up. Look at Native Robin. Absolutely loves the game, and he's trying desperately to get back into this. But you have to think he's booked for 3rd spot as we jump 2 out, Kate.
Yeah, no, like you say, not available, just continues to plod away, doesn't he? Again, if he manages to take advantage of this race, it's at the expense of rivals jumping frailties again. So he's not going to stop anyway, you wouldn't think, with this lad.
He's 1.2 in running, and he just shortens into that one a little bit. And I'll tell you what, Midnight Midge sawed it. He's giving himself a chance.
Yeah,
okay, we're coming down to the last then, guys, I think now, aren't we?
Yeah.
And again, another good finish. Court the King will run on for the places. I tell you what, he's finishing really strongly. It was just too late. A really good jump this time, though. Yeah, he didn't get the second last right, but he's absolutely pulverised. Money talked, and it did. Tom Bellamy does the steering. He's even easing him off down in the line a little bit. Midnight Midge.
He's not too soon.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's close.
Housery from Bellamy.
An eventful race then, Barry. Your rag run a decent race, but that was the gamble.
Yeah, the winner was the gamble in the race. Yeah, I had a hard race just 7 days ago in Newbury, so good to see him come out of it so fresh like that. Hit a high in running of 7.2. Some notable in running lows would have to be Native Robin. No, only traded. There's nothing really traded low in running 3.65. That's Desire. Outside of that, Midnight Midge 1.63 traded at Midnight Ridge 6-4 on. We got our bet up. We backed to be placed in the first 3, and Court the King was 3rd. So happy days.
2 seconds okay for the panel then coming in, and we got an each way, but we still need to get the big one coming up. Could it be next in the Tolworth? That's for sure. One more coming from Wincanton along the line. And, we're frustrated there, weren't we? The first fence.
I know, yeah, literally straight, especially as he was being ridden differently, to expect a very different running from him as he had fallen down the handicap. But yeah, no, frustrating. That's it. Yeah, Jim Williams has had. I messaged Kieran with just a sick emoji face on the back of Gladiator Allen, and he just said something. He's rotten. Got a lot of ability. Couldn't pull him up. Laughing face. So actually couldn't pull him up.
Should he be on his phone in the way?
Oh, he's out now. He's out now. They're allowed now.
Yeah, are they
since
now,
COVID.
indeed?
Since COVID, they're allowed now.
To be fair, why shouldn't you be allowed? Like,
don't go there.
If you're in a cinema, I don't see there's any problem using your phone if it's on silent. It's your prerogative. I wouldn't do it. I'd watch the film.
It's really pointless because back in the day, previous to COVID, they could go and sit outside the weighing room and be on their phone, literally a metre away from the weighing room. But as soon as they were past the door, they weren't allowed. So they just said since COVID.
I honestly don't calling them and all that sort of stuff, you know. And it was
what in case they're betting? Well, they're not really betting, are they?
They don't want the word of the weighing room getting out. That's basically what it is. So they weren't allowed to. It was a big crackdown.
If people give them that much credit that that's what they're talking about, then they're giving them far too much.
All sorts of random stuff, like the 9 dart the other night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I Can't Speak, which by the way was about a rugby tackle, wasn't it, all those years ago? Zach Merishaw having a good afternoon. Let us know how you're doing out there, guys. Are any of you like Zach out there? Smashing it in here, chaps. I'm glad someone is, Zachy boy. Good to have you on. Let us know, guys. How's it going? What's going to win the Tolworth? This is your chance. You've got 10 minutes to let us know. Probably a little bit more than that as well. The market was all about authorised speed. You said Tamuras, of course, who's done nothing wrong since he's turned up over hurdles for Paul Nicholls, Barry Orr. He was out to 72. Not anymore.
Authorised speeds. We're around the 11 to 8 mark. Tamuras is into 3.85 now, so 11 to 4, 6.8 Arctic Brazil for Henry de Brom and Rachel Blackmore. That's a real negative. He has been back on the exchange, on the sportsbook anyway, as short as 9 to 4, as short as 3.9 on the exchange. 19.5. Neiman Line is 20. 34. Colonel Harry, who's not without a chance, course and distance winner last time out. If I was having a place bet in it, it'd be Colonel Harry, but I like Tamaris. Nichols has said in his blog, which you can read exclusively on betting.betfair, and a piece I do with him every weekend where we look at his runners. You can check that out on the Betfair social channels on Twitter in particular. He said he's an out-and-out stayer, this horse. So you think Order Speed is going to go forward. There's going to be plenty of pace on here. I thought he ran a bit in snatches in Haydock, Tamarisk, but once he came back on it, jumping the second last, between the second last and the last, he's one going away. It was a very impressive performance, and apparently he's trained really well since. He's an out-and-out stayer. I think this is going to be going to put an emphasis on stamina, this race, the way the ground is. So happy to take on Authorised Speed at that price, 2.28. We're a backer here, Kate, of Tamarisk, if you didn't realise. We're going to put into back it at around 4, which is bang on 3-1. So if you select back, ticket up to 4, put in 25 quid, and it'll sit there in the market and wait for someone to come in and lay us that bet.
Can't argue with his form, Barry, can you? Let's just concentrate on him a little bit.
When you say that, Dave, like last day he beat Size and Potsy, who is a very average sort of horse now, in fairness. But it's just the way he did.
Since, hasn't he? Snake Roll. He's come out on one. Because I wanted to pick holes in his form as well. And if you go back to the Chepstow run where he basically hosed up, it was just one horse race. He beat 4 last time, next time out winners.
Yeah, but just on the Haydock running, he hasn't pulled up any trees by beating Size and Potsy, but it's just the way he did it at the finish. After looking like he was struggling a little bit on the turn out of the back straight, to come back on it the way he did between the last two, I was just really impressed in the way he went on about his business then. If this is a true speed test on better ground, well then Authorised Speed would be evens or even odds on. But with an emphasis on stamina around here today, I think it just levels the playing field a bit, and the disparity in the odds is too much for me.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think certainly hurdling form, he's turned himself inside out. Tamuras. Let's go to Charles Carter though, because he says Nemean Lion was a length faster than Tamuras when they both were at Haydock. Yet one short, the other's 20-1, just because of the trainer, possibly.
Totally agree.
Possibly.
Shout out to Charles Carter.
Kills loves this. This was his nap yesterday that he
gave
me.
It's my nap as well.
Is it?
Yeah, I haven't just copied him. I didn't realise that, he was napping it as well.
We were both in the office yesterday.
But, yeah, we didn't really speak about horses though.
Mm-hmm.
But what was that about? I like his profile. I mean, you're going to need to stay well, and you're going to need. Experience isn't going to hurt, is it? In these sort of novice races on testing ground.
The horse
and he is experienced on
good
the
horse,
flat. Hollenbach, yeah, good bumper horse. Yeah, he was giving him £5.
Fergal O'Brien's decent animal.
I mean, he stayed 1 mile 7 on heavy ground on the flat. He's placed in a Group 2 Chardonnay for Andre Farb a few years ago. He's obviously had his issues off for a long time, but he's made quite a nice start.
Pronunciation coming back.
Chardonnay. Not Chardonnay the bottle, but anyway. I mean, he's not far off on BHA ratings. He's not far off for Speed or Tamuras.
That's over mile 7, isn't it? The Prix de Chardonnay. That's on the Saturday of the art card. And you'd think that he might want a bit further. But Kerry Lee, he's had his problems. That's why Kerry's got him. He's owned by Will Rosef, whose colours you will recognise, Storm Control.
They had a winner recently, Bally Casey's brother as well.
Yeah, they are. That's right, and he's had some very good horses.
It's a good
He's
piece
quite a powerful individual, and he's very interesting because it's heavy ground, and they would not.
Yeah.
What does it?
Kills not something I picked up on, but he unearthed a decent stat
about Swans. He called it.
Oh, that wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to say he made a decent case about Kerry Lee and I think it was in Grade 1s.
Decent Swans.
Oh, I see.
She doesn't mix them up.
I think it's like 8 out of the 12. 8 out of 12 runs she's had have finished in the first 4. So, I think, I thought he'd be short. He's well on the drift as well.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of tipping going on for that.
I mean, you're getting 3 places now as well. I wouldn't put anyone off having an each way bet for the 8 runners.
Okie dokie. All right. So thankfully the dead 8 stand their ground. We're used to small fields, of course, aren't we? In Constitution Hills, romping home last year. What a sight that was. But even when Metier won it turned out to be a handicapper basically. It was still a small field there, and he won by half the track. This is competitive. This is almost like the Challow was on the 31st.
Yeah, loads of runners.
Yeah.
And
what
are we going to
see
see
the year's Grade 1 novice hurdles?
Yeah, fantastic. So it should be, shouldn't it? We've got Lastro Boy, who of course beat Tamuras in his bumper, and you got Blow Your Wad in here as well, who is no 8-1 shot on the bumper form. When he locked horns with Tamuras at Wincanton, he would have beaten him if he hadn't veered all the way across the track when Tamuras won that day. Their trajectory has gone differently over hurdles, but if you like Tamuras, you've got to be looking at Lastro Boy and you've got to be looking at Blow Your Wad as well, because they both pretty much had his measure in bumpers. Right, let's get some socials up. Who's out there? Let's have a look. Tom Leach comes back on. Champion bump form is very average.
Yes.
IMO.
Can I reinforce that point from Tom Leach? I wrote the premium analysis for this and did crunch some numbers for the champion bumper.
I'm doing it right now. Take it away. And I'm
you're
gonna
reading
say
my
yes
analysis,
or no.
or
I'm going to
got
say
a nice
yes or
graphic
no.
in the paper. Well, basically, if you take out Authorised Speed and Facile Vega, the other 36 runs over hurdles between all the other horses, there have been 5 winners.
Yeah, it's
5 out of
disappointing,
36, that's pretty poor.
If you look at the like of St James's Gate, we haven't really seen since he's out for the season, I think, isn't he? But American Mike,
Oh, he's just a frame of an animal, though. He is
massive,
God,
isn't he? Huge.
Like I remember seeing him at Cheltenham there, being ridden out one morning, and someone pointed him out and said, "Oh, that's American Mike," and I thought, God, like he was just a frame of a thing. He was like this chair, and you just kind of think, how is he going to be able to win a champion bumper on that basis?
He ran a blinder.
He ran a blinder, all things considering, because he just did not look like there was nothing that filled any part of him. And you kind of thought, even to this,
he looked like
even
that
to
when he
this
got
season,
turned over, whatever price it was on his last run. That's American Mike. So, but look, Authorised Speed. You don't see Gary Moore having runners in the champion bumper like every year, you know. And he wouldn't. And again, he's a patient man. He knows what he's got. Probably more than a lot of sort of trainers out there in a minute. He's 2 from 2 so far. He won the race that Constitution Hill won coming into this, having arrived under a penalty. The horse of Henderson's, who went with him and then just couldn't go with him, despite the fact he walked through the last. They think a lot of that. It's called Immortal. The Lingfield form was worked out. This is the right favourite. I'm not crazy about the price.
Too short, though, isn't he?
What the fascinating thing about him is, he is really fast. But he does like a good dig as well. And Gary's been saying to us all week here, I want the rain, because it was tacky last time. He doesn't want that drying winter ground. He'd rather it was sloppy and they're getting through it. And of course, we're just looking at the race goers now as they go around in the parade ring out there. They've all got their hoods on and all that sort of stuff. There's a few soppy mops out there. So I think it's perfect for him. He's the right favourite. Whether I'd be steaming in at that price, I don't know. But I truly hope this goes to the Moor Yard. I really do. And I hope that this is the best British hope going into the Supreme, because this is a very talented horse, and I don't think we quite saw it in bumpers. It took him 3 goes to win one, and when he won at Newbury, my Lord, he spread eagle the field. Going to the champion bumper was a very interesting play, and he wasn't disgraced at all in 5th. That wasn't. I thought he'd come in last.
So is he your selection?
He is. He is. I'm not crazy about. I just think this is the one. I think the right horse will win this. Interesting, isn't it? The Irish horse has been so weak, considering the connections. Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore. He beat a horse called Mercury, of course, who the Richies thought would be pretty good in bumpers. He hasn't quite gone on, and apparently they're a little bit lukewarm on him. And the third was beaten half the track when he came back out for Mouse Morris. And like you say, Barry, he's been really weak, hasn't he? Arctic Brazil.
Yeah, he has, Dave. Yeah, it was around a 9-4 chance at one stage in the market, the anti-post market, when these 8 had stood their ground, actually. So he's out now to 5.6. Yeah, you're going to have to put him in the weak category. Very weak.
Yeah, all right, okay, which is unusual.
But they just don't know what they have with him yet. Like, they're testing the water over here. It's a strange one for Henry de Bromhead to bring one over. Yeah. I wonder, is that the influence of Puppy Power in the yard now? You know, that he's suggesting races like this to come over and give it a tilt and see where they stand with their novices. It'll be a good yardstick. It'll be a good barometer to see other novices in the yard, how they match up to the UK ones. Get a handle on it with Arctic Brazil.
Well, the last time he came over to Sandown, of course, was on the flat, wasn't it? And he won the Henry VIII 12
the mare.
Gold Cup. Lismore.
Yeah.
Lismore, yeah.
Bromhead's only 2 from 17.
That was when we really thought, stop it, Henry, wasn't it? It was just like, come on.
He was.
He's actually only 2 from 17 at Sandown overall, though, which ain't great.
Yeah, but again, this would be a different model of a horse, I think.
It's going to be tough to do this when you second run over hurdles, isn't it?
And the Brady G says, Henry de Bromhead sending over Arctic Brazil. Are we going to see another Envoy Allen? Could hack up. Well, look, good luck to you.
Hopefully not the Envoy Len he sent over for the King George, though.
Price. Sam Caney comes back on. Sammy, welcome back along.
Colonel Harry has a bit of a chance here, Dave.
Yeah.
Yes, for That's All Right Gino connections, isn't it? And Jamie Snowden.
He's an out-and-out stayer.
Yeah, the Glyn Davis partnership. Yeah, the family. He made all to win on this ground, of course, and distance, and they're going to make plenty of use of him. I know they seem very keen on him, and he was 40. He's into 24 now, so he's been pumped, Colonel Harry. All
right, so yeah, if you think there's more to come from him, and again, Jamie Snowden, interesting chap this is, because again, he wouldn't be quick to run him in. I mean, a mark of 1.22, he could have it shows you what they think of the horse. Obviously, Sam Caney, yes, whatever wins this will be going to the Supreme, all being well. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Of course, the Betfair hurdle has changed this year, Barry. Paul Keeley first mentioned that to me. I totally forgot. 4 runs, isn't it now?
It's 4 now, yeah. So that kind of puts the kibosh on some of the Supreme hurdle hopes, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how that works out this year and the reasoning behind it, more importantly.
Yeah, of course, it was to try and get more, more novices running, basically, wasn't it, and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, because you know, 3 runs and you're in, basically. So you watched the horse of John Joe's that won it. I ran over fences the other day. What was this? John Joe's horse? Spirit something? No. Oh God.
No. Oh my God, that's going to throw. Morning.
Anyway.
The Fame and Glory horse.
Soaring Glory. Yeah, he was the 3 runs and you're in, wasn't it? All right, so that's gone basically now, which of course slips under the radar, doesn't it? Until we look at the great race coming up next month. All right, okay, and lots to be said about that. But we are off and running in the 2023. Tolworth Hurdle, Grade 1 time here on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. There you get to see the real market as it goes off. Keep an eye on authorised speed, his price in running, and it's a muddling gallop so far, guys. Colonel Harry getting something of a free bit. You Can Tango's a decent horse, as we saw at Cheltenham last time. He'll bring us some form into this. Over the first, how are they going to take it? I'll tell you what, I nearly called him El Captoria. Archie Brazil is absolutely pulling his hands off Rachel Blackmore at the minute. Lastro Boy sees them all in with Blow Your Wad, the first time cheap pieces. Nemean Line got some lovely cover. And I'll tell you what, the favourite by his own standards so far settled really nicely. Over the second, he dived to that one a little bit. All right, stop talking, Dave Orton there, saying if you've lumped on authorised speed. Let's get over to Barry.
268 authorised speed, 3.7 Hammer Assist 4 Arctic Brazil. There's not real money for anything in running. Neiman Lion is probably the one, 16.5. Had a Betfair SP at 22, but it's early days now.
I'll tell you what, he's in a nice position, Rob, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just jumped the first 2 quite nicely.
Yeah, okay, all right. So Richard Patrick getting the lucky ride there on the Nemean Line. Classy sort on the flat for Andre Farb. Got his ground. It's all to play for. But Colonel Harry, as Barry said, likely to get on with it. You said he's a thorough stayer. Okay, he's 4 in front.
Yeah, he just looked that last time out over this course and distance, soft ground, thorough stayer who just relished the conditions. So why not make the most of both of those factors and just let him stroll on and put your rivals under pressure for all that? It's helped a few of them settle a little bit. Archer Brazil's actually settled far more so than he did at Cork last time. He was rotten at Cork and still managed to win. So
he's saying Constitution Hill, come and have a look at me. I can do the same. Just get on with it. Archer Brazil goes out the bat now. I'm not sure how happy she is actually on Henry de Bromhead's last time out winner. I'm not 100% sure, and taking a slightly wider route as well. Tamuras is also we haven't concentrated on so far. No. Popped that very nice. He's made perhaps a bit more patient than they have been so far on him. You can see he wears a cross noseband. He's got his head up slightly, but on the inside, Nemean Line in authorised speed, Jamie Moore's, that's a better jump from him, and he's not letting this front runner go away. Barry, we're on the far side. Is the market spiking on anything yet?
David, hasn't changed. It's 2.46 authorised speed. Tamura's, if anything, has come into 3.2 now. And the market's suggesting that it's between the two of them. Your front runner, Colonel Harry, is 18. But authorised speed still your favourite in running. Tamura's clear second favourite at 2-1.
All right, okay. So now this is where they start to get running. It's the third last coming up, isn't it? And you often don't want to be on the inside, actually. So just interesting that Jamie Moore is here. And Colonel Harry just veers out to his right.
Jumping out to his left.
Really jumping out.
Yeah, out to his left, sorry. And I'll tell you what, the Fab wasn't brilliant there either. He's got to learn to respect his hurdles a bit more. I don't know. I can see him. You can see why he's going out now. But he's still got a
Neiman Line got absolutely.
There's
no run there whatsoever. Not ideal. But it hasn't
not lost too much momentum, though.
There's all to play for here. It's just the Irish Raider who's absolutely struggling. Not often you say that on a Saturday in Grade 1 racing, is it? I'll tell you what, the British hopes are alive. Could we be seeing a Supreme horse?
It's a British winner, anyway, that's for sure.
Unless they all fall, of course, it's a British winner. They're turning for home then. Look at Tamuras on the outside. Nemean Lion still got plenty to play for. Not sure what authorised
speed is on. Nemean Lion.
Tamuras is the one, isn't he? I think this could be another great one for Paul Nemean
Lion is getting
nothing. Point on the inside. Under Andrew Wedge got a
hasn't passed the one in front yet.
Now it's Colonel Harry then, and you know he's going to stay. But look at Harry Cobden, exuding confidence. Authorised speed has flopped. Hasn't run his race at all.
Not done yet.
Nastro Boy, Nemean Line, he should stay as well, shouldn't he? 2 outs. Here we go. Well, not a great jump from Tamuras. Nemean Line is filling his lungs.
Behind you, Harry. Look behind you.
Oh, he's trying so hard, Colonel Harry.
Now Tamuras is back on the blind. Could this be yet another Grade 1 for Paul Nicholls. Could this yet be a rival? Namian Lyons coming.
Go
Come
on,
on, Rob.
son.
Come on,
Get
then. They're
over
coming
it.
to the last. They're going to walk
Get
over
over.
it. Colonel Harry
Oh,
Banks
God,
had a good
God,
jump by
God,
Namian
God.
Lyon. But Tamuras is the stayer, is he? Namian Lyons after him. Lastro Boy filling his lungs as well. But Tamuras is running around all over the place. Arms in the air from Barry Orr. He drifted out to a big price. Ditchy can do no wrong. Another grade 1 in the bag. Surely it'll be the Supreme next for him. His old rival who beat him in a bumper, Lastro Boy, runs on for second. Cracking run. Each way turns put up from just about every tipsy you look at here on the Racing Post with Namian Lyon. What a race, Barry Orr.
Didn't even come up for air there, Dave. You're a different class. You really are.
I've got big
FRSP
old
at the
lungs,
finish,
Barry.
Dave, of 3.62. So he was punted at the finish, although authorised speed went off at 2.45. You'd have to say authorised speed, very disappointed. Neiman Lyon hit a low of 6-4 in running. 0.50, bang on, 2.2 authorised speed. The front running, Colonel Harry, I think is beat out of the places at the finish, hit a low of 3.2 in running, 9-4. They'll have a bit of fun with him, but you're right, Tamurisk for Paul Nicholls will go to the Supreme now. That'll be his next run, I would imagine. And Noland, I think, was Paul's last winner of the Tolworth that went on to win the Supreme. Famously traded at 1,000 in running, Noland. So hopefully he's another Noland to Morris. But Paul had said he was an out-and-out stayer and he was really looking forward to him coming up the hill. And that's what he's done at the finish, really, hasn't he? He's outstayed him on that ground.
I'm going to say he's hit the front a bit soon looking at that as well. I know he's been winning his novice. What's that?
Sound hungover now?
No, you worry about me, old boy. Listen, I've got plenty of gas left in me. Don't worry, we've got an hour left on this show. We've now got a massive break as well, by the way. So let's hear what you think about
He's
this.
filling the time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's ambled over that second last. And he's kind of like, then you're back on the bridle. And Namian Lyon, he's run an absolute blinder for you, isn't he?
Yeah, he's run brilliant. I mean, as Barry said, traded 6-4 in running. I mean, you can't really argue that too much. I mean, he was a little bit unlucky, wasn't he? A couple of times. He was hampered 2 or 3 times, really, in the run. I mean, he wouldn't have beat Tamuras, would he? But I'd argue he probably could have got second with a bit more luck. But, you know, Lastro Boy has run considering that's his only second run over hurdles, that's a brilliant performance.
Barry, fingers on the buzzers then. What are we looking at anti-post wise?
He's 10 from 33 for the Supreme, and they've also quoted him for the Ballymore, where he's 10 from 20. I can't see him taking on Hermes Allen in the Ballymore, but it's up to the owners, isn't it?
Oh, he's not going to go Ballymore, no way. And I don't know. Just watch the run-in again, Barry. We're watching the head on now on RTV. He's just, I don't know. He's been attacked, isn't he? He's sort of like ambled over the last 2. He's walked through that second last. He's then wandered a bit. And that suggests he's still green, doesn't it? And I don't know. It'd be very interesting with the lead, I think.
Yeah. I just thought after he jumped the last, he seemed to get busy with him. He was hanging over to the left. He was hanging to the stand side, wasn't he? I don't know whether that was tiredness or just greenness, but horses can do that in Sandown with the big expanse after jumping the last. And he did hang all the way across the track, but ultimately he's just outstayed them, Dave, for my money. There's 3 of them didn't finish at all. There was only 5 finishers in the race, maybe 4.
Since Noland, he's had 6 runners in the race for 2 places, and I don't know. This is a horse that, like I say, in bumpers he was probably just plying his trade, wasn't he? And he although the fact he's flattened this, he's gone away. Very interesting to see what Harry Cobden says about this chap. Bearing in mind, he got off Hermes Allen and said, that's the best I've ever ridden. Sorry, Barry.
That's me, Dave. Sorry, yeah, sorry. No, I'm just looking at the rerun there. He's, I don't think they're very... I don't know how different horses they are, because Paul says that Tamarisk is a stayer and obviously Hermes Allen is a stayer as well. But obviously Harry Cobden said that you could drop Hermes Allen back to 2 miles. That wouldn't inconvenience him massively. And this horse has won a grade 1 over 2 miles. I think they have to go Supreme with them, don't they really? And I don't know whether on good ground over 2 miles he's going to be as effective. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Supreme Day, they're always going to be a bit of give in the ground.
Is that the last 3 grade 1s that Paul's had runners in? He's won.
Brave Man's Game as well.
Brave Man's Game.
Yeah, must be. Yeah.
Shallow.
Yeah. Brave Man's.
What a run.
Hermes Allen and that.
There you go.
I think that's is that a first grade 1 for the Knowlefeely Racing Club?
It probably is.
David
Cross and all them lot.
It's not a grade 1 winner yet.
Is that Envoy not? Is she not?
No, she finished second in the grade 1 at Fairy House because the mares and obviously was a grade 2.
Good knowledge. Good knowledge.
Nicely
I've got plenty of
done.
that.
Good. Oh yeah, it's always a surprise. Lastro Boyd ran well there. I think he's
Big
definitely
time.
going forward.
I think he's probably the horse to take out the race.
Do you now?
Much more inexperienced than
He beat Tamouras though, didn't he, in the bumper?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was both their respective first starts, but Tamouras has run a lot more since.
And interestingly, Evan Williams said about Lastro Boyd, where do I go with a horse like this? You know, he might have been playing it down slightly, but a very nice horse there.
Yeah, quite a self-deprecating bloke. I mean, Evan Williams doesn't normally have too many novice hurdlers that do this much so soon. So
and the Nemean line, what a blinder that was, because he got a
great
run
run.
in the run.
I mean, I'm sure he would have finished second without that. I mean, at one point it looked like he was going to ruin Tamouras, but I mean, no real excuses with the winner.
And Gary Moore and the team, Kate, will be absolutely gutted, won't they? Because authorised speed, he just ran a bit flat, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't really pick up the bridle when we used to associate with him being a bit headstrong and everything then as well. And he didn't really go a yard then. He had no real excuses. He was on that inside track, but at the same time, he was beaten too far out, as was Arctic Brazil, who you could see as soon as he picked up a bridle going past the stands, but as soon as they went into the dip, then you could see that Rachel Blackman was slapping him down the shoulder.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of something about Henry de Bromhead's horses travelling outside of the festival at the minute, because a Plutard of his sickness going to the Betfair Chase, Envoy Elen, I mean, Manila Indo of last year, then Daryl Carter actually made this point previously. Yeah, thank goodness he's trying it, but yeah, a bit disappointed. But I tell you what, I love that Colonel Harry. Oh my God, my heart is taken. I've got my EBF final winner right there if he goes for that now.
Cheeky, because we were falling out the places probably, while it might disappoint them today, probably won't be the worst thing for the future, will it?
No, but if he steps up in trick for the EBF final, gets testing ground again, I love Colonel Harry.
Now, here we go. Sam Caney, it's almost like you've preempted the game I'm going to start playing, because we've got a gap now, guys, 25 minutes until the veterans come out and strut their stuff. And what a lot of people will be saying will be the spectacle of the day. We've just had the race of the day. We've got the spectacle coming up at 3 p.m. But we've got a bit of time now to chew the fat. Can you put that back up, guys? Sorry, I didn't get to see that. They were a bit quick on the triggers there. We've got Will and Dave in. And
if they're struggling, if the producer boys are struggling, I'll tell you what he said, mate.
They're sensing the Thursday Bear, I can tell.
The gentleman said Facile Vega is the lay of Cheltenham after that, even more so.
The gentleman being Sam Caney.
Sam Caney, yeah.
Yeah, he's a gentleman as
and
well.
I would,
there we go. Well done,
he's back.
Chaz. Yeah, all right.
I'd
Okay.
respect
Hasn't been that impressive in his 2 hurdle starts. 4 times, beaten nothing. Probably the worst unshot I've ever seen. Now, you're listening to Paul Keeley out there, who has got his talons out for this. Barry, what do you make of Facile Vega? I'm going to go down all the favourites now at Cheltenham. I'm going to say play or lay.
Facile Vega, the bookie in me, you have to be a layer at that price, don't you? 8 to 11. I'd like to see what he does at the Dublin Racing Festival, but at the moment, 8 to 11, layer than a backer.
8 to 11.
Yeah, great.
Play or lay?
Lay, absolutely. I can't see him going off shorter than that, unless he goes and wins at the Dublin Racing by 10 lengths. But I wasn't that impressed by him over Christmas. I mean, he's probably
I wasn't.
No, I wasn't really. I think that's quite a weak.
He still wins, doesn't he? And impaired for pass or whatever. He probably is a very good horse, isn't he? And I think you're allowed an off day and still win. And maybe it's that team, isn't it?
It's just, well, no one's arguing that Facile Vega isn't a very, very good horse, but is he a very, 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 very good one?
Are you suggesting we've just seen another blow for the champion bumper? You are, aren't you? I can see I can see it coming from you.
The data's adding up, boy.
It is. Another
X. Speed, a little bit disappointing.
What price for the Supreme Tamouras now, Barry? Sorry, remind us of getting that on the sportsbook.
10 to 1, Dave.
10 to 1. And
10 to 1, Dave.
Yeah, 10 to 1. And the same price for the Ballymore as well. Same price for the Ballymore as well. Yeah, okay.
I'd probably prefer him for the Ballymore, probably. It's unlikely to be soft ground.
All right, okay, that's Facile Vega. Let's get a word from Kate Tracey on him as well, because people love it when we talk about Facile Vega. We could just say Facile Vega and just sit there quietly and it would get loads of views.
Yeah.
Play or lay?
As Barry said, at that price, it would have to be a lay. But I don't think that people... I think people are being very harsh to Facile Vega. He's had to make his own running on both his starts so far. He will be so much better with the lead that he'll hopefully get in the Supreme. But nothing so far has been able to go with him. I mean, I think Danny Mullins said that himself from last time out, where he was riding Il Etat Tom to winning effect, trying to beat Facile Vega, so he took the lead from him, taking a pull back then, and he's just got nothing that can go with him to give him the lead, so I think it'll be so much better when he has a lead. Has to be a lay at that price. I love Marine Nationale though. We're not going to get to see him until the festival, so hopefully he might be a bit forgotten about by then.
They had another one, didn't they?
8 to 11 is surely poor value, isn't it? Surely.
All right.
Is he going to go off short on that?
It's a lay for the panel then.
Can I just say one more thing? The Supreme, I used to always associated with being a massive field. It hasn't been like that the last few years.
No.
There's
Well,
probably some each-way value against him now.
At the moment, but when you say could he go any shorter than 8 to 11, if Graham Rodway should teach us anything, the moment he says that and a horse wins, there's only one thing that happens, right? So if he goes and wins at the Dublin Racing Festival, it'll probably go again, that price, I would imagine. So it probably will. Well, it probably shouldn't.
It probably will, yeah.
Well, it probably will. But you've got a horse like Marine National against him, and Père de Passe, of course, is the stable mate you've got in the pocket.
Rare edition.
We've got, of course, there's a very good race tomorrow, isn't there, Barry? The Lawlers of Nace, of course.
Yeah, Lawlers and Ace tomorrow, Dave. It's always a decent yardstick to Cheltenham, and I don't think tomorrow's going to be any different. It's a good field that's held up as well. I suppose at the head of the market, Grange Clare West is going to be hard to beat, around the 5 to 4 mark. Outside of that, Irish Point, the finished runner-up last day, has been backed into 7 to 2 from 9 to 2. That finished runner-up in Ferryhouse in the Grade 1 novices. Champ Kiley, 11 to 2, same price in the way you're thinking. And Dawn Rising in there as well. So, yeah, Grange Clare West, I think they expect an awful lot of this horse, and they'll be very disappointed if he got beat.
Well, the expensive Cheveley Park purchase, of course. And he'll be more Ballymore. We're looking at more Ballymore for that, which is a market that could yet come alive, I think.
And hopefully then it will be a couple of form boosts if Irish Point and Champ Kiley run well for Marine National as well.
I love the project though, Kate, and we know where Kate's going. All right, okay, so it's a lay then for Paso Vega. The first of the shorties that we're covering here. Does Joe Holden have something to say to us, I'm hearing? Let's get the social up on the screen if we can. Where is he? Am I right? Is Joe going to join us at this point? Guys in the studio? In the gallery? All right, well, they're not with me.
If he doesn't, let's name all.
Yeah, no, he's there. He's there. Problem with the Supreme. Who'd you take him on with?
Rare edition.
These 2 milers have been dross. Well, I don't know. That wasn't dross.
Rare Edition's been the springer in the last week or so since he won. He was at 20 and 25. He's into 10 now.
That's 10, really?
There's a nice link because I spoke to Charlie Longston yesterday. I had the pleasure of having him beam into the studio yesterday. He's such a good talker. And, of course, we've got Snow Leopardess, the stable favourite, I should say, coming up in the next. But, yeah, like him a lot. But just hold fingers on the buzzers a little bit for that because he wouldn't. Well, you wouldn't. Charlie said that with Rare Edition's jumping, he's a little bit worried about him over 2 miles at the top class jumping. On that Sandown run, he didn't dismiss the Ballymore. So, and I said there we got this perennial thing, with a horse like him who comes from the points sphere, which way they're going to go. Kills will still have you think that maybe even Fasol could even yet end up in the Ballymore. There you are. All right, I'm going to go to another hot pot. Let's go to Barry with this because on the sportsbook, you're one of the biggest out there about John Bond, Barry. In the Arkle, it comes up, as we know, after the Supreme. Play or lay?
Yeah, he's a 6 to 4 chance, and I think there's plenty in against him. He's a lay all day for me at that price, at 6 to 4, and he's to get to the festival. Now, we're talking about laying here anti-post, not day off. I don't think he's beaten anything. Mon Morales disappointed since, and beating Boot Hill 8 lengths. Is that great form? I'm not so sure either. I think he's I think the best of the Irish haven't really come out yet. You'd have Dysort Dynamo, who did okay in Leopardstown, but I think there's more to come there.
Yeah, and you got the others. It looks like the Mullins yard against Hendo in that, basically, doesn't it? El Fabiolo, of course, appreciate it. Who we're hoping to see tomorrow. Saint Noir, of course, who Rodway hilariously came on and said, "There's your grand annual plot," and he goes, "It's the one." Of course, over Christmas had to happen. Banbridge, something I've forgotten. Mighty Potter. I don't know which way he's going to go yet, and could something yet come out of the pack?
Yeah, Mighty Potter's interesting because I have him down as quite a quick horse. I know he won the Drimmore.
You've been trying to take on John Bond at that price. This is your lad.
Yeah, but it's because he was that price before we'd seen any Irish horses, and since then, I mean, appreciate it. And El Fabiola come out. Even Dysart Dynamo have been similarly as impressive. So I still think he's a very bad price.
All right, okay. Should we just get Constitution out of the way?
Yeah, who's laying in?
I mean, it's going to be the first play, isn't it?
I do worry it could be like 5 runners in Championata, which would be.
What price is he going to go off? This is something that we've been.
Pat Cooney said to us, didn't he? He reckons he could go off about 8 to 1 on.
Well, I mentioned that to Barry last week, and he was a bit. It seemed like it was.
Well, I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility if a horse is sort of. I mean, the high class mares, Epatante, Honeysuckle, go down the mare's route.
Yeah, it looks like that's probably going to happen. Actually,
but who could you bank on going against him? Apart from State Man, obviously. State Man is the interesting one. But
I want to see more. I still want to see a bit more from State Man. I don't think you'll get near him.
And actually Vauban's quite
Yeah,
interesting.
Vauban.
He
was the one
is,
to
and they were
take out
very
there.
happy with Vauban. I just don't know what Vauban wins this season. I just don't know.
He's in the Zanahiyr camp, isn't he? Sort of a second
Maybe.
season impressive juvenile
Well, apparently
hurdler.
they
Is he
were
up
really-
to
I think
it?
he's a bit
Really
classier.
happy
He's a
with
bit
that.
classy in Zanahiyr though.
Yeah, I think he's faster than him.
It's in County Hurdle for Vaughan. He absolutely.
That'd be a huge mark there, wouldn't he?
Blimey, crumbs. £20 claim.
That was a good run behind Stateman on his return.
Oh yeah, when
All
they
right, okay.
all they were saying was that he was big, weren't
That's
they?
the
That's all they were
Tuesday
saying.
done, all right, and we're thinking, of course, that will be the treble out there for people, and we'll see
Yeah.
how the mares and other races line up. We could have Gaillard do many, of course, it could be yet a warm order in the National Hunt Chase, of course. But let's go to the Wednesday. Barry Orr, Energumene, Edward Stone fluffed his lines, of course, at Kempton, although he galloped round, absolutely winging every fence in the Desert Orchid after that. What price Energumene at the moment? Blue Lord was impressive, of course, the stablemate. A play or a lay?
Just listening to Noel Feely here, he'd be left in both races at Tamaris, but they're leaning heavily towards the Supreme. Sorry, Dave. 8-11 in Ergumine, Edward Stone 9-4, 7 Blue Lord, Grenadine 14. Can't see the winner coming from outside of that quartet.
Play or lay Energumene, Barry?
Oh, again, this far out, Dave, anti-post, laying him at 8-11, you're probably not doing much wrong because he's going to be thereabouts on the day, isn't he? He's not going to be a 3-1 on chance. Like, you've Edward Stone in there, the great English hope, and he's going to be punted on the day. You've Blue Lord as well. You wouldn't be doing much damage laying him at 8-11.
If Edward Stone gets back on track, as we're hoping, maybe in something like the Game Spirit.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
I looked at this prior to Edward Stone running at Christmas, and I thought, 9-4. He beaten Granatine and Tingle
bit
Creek
short,
and all
isn't
that
it?
sort of. Well, I wasn't sure. And then I looked at it. And you look at Energumene's form. I mean, the champion chase, he just had to win it, didn't he? You know, it all fell apart totally.
He's beaten Fernamble Sivler.
Yeah,
8 lengths.
it just, you know. It's,
Yeah, but in Ireland, his form is almost a cut above that.
Well, he's a
champion case win, though,
class apart. And that, not suggesting that he might not be a class apart, but Edward Stone, I thought, if the layer's gone mad putting him in at that short.
Is he
Then
not
look
going
at
for
Edward Stone's form. I mean, if you beat that horse in the Tingle Creek, a Granatine, in the Tingle Creek around Sandown by that far, that is a better Granatine you're going to get at Sandown. I've said this before, than you're going to get at Cheltenham. That was an unbelievable first-time out performance. And at
brilliant.
Kempton, it was just one of those weird things where we heard from Charlie Post and Matty Batch last week saying, Tom Cannon, you can get too confident about when you ride a horse like Edward Stone, that they just take you into the fences. And Kingy's comment afterwards say they usually get it right. Read between the lines there. That's jockey and horse. Okay, but this time they didn't. And it was a bit of a miscommunication thing. If he gets back on track, Energumene, play or lay? You're a fan?
I'm a fan of Blue Lord, actually. I think
again,
Blue Lord's performance
novice form,
he
isn't
put
it?
up at Leopardstown was almost just as good as Edwardstone's at Sandown. That was a brilliant performance.
That's going to be a commentator's nightmare.
Well,
otherwise, you're right.
what's Blue Lord for champion? I'd say he represents a bit of each way value, but there's that door open for the Ryanair still.
Yeah, okay, all right. So that is the play or lay then of the first 4 shorties. We're not sure about Allaho yet, are we, of course?
Got to be a lay at the moment.
He's actually clear favourite Summit. I mean,
he'll
Stayers Hurdle as well. That's bizarre.
Allaho.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Who pops up for that? But I'm looking down for some of the other shorties that are in. I mean, Lossiemouth, play or lay?
Ooh,
Graham
that's
Rodway
really
says
tough.
she
What
cannot
price- what
possibly
price-
get shorter than 11-4 before she went and won the night, Frank. Hose is up 6-4.
6-4. Lay at the moment.
Lay?
Yeah,
Kate?
lay at the moment, especially because I really like Blood Destiny.
Oh,
Really
okay.
like for the same yard. Then yeah, I mean I've just looked at his price there, 16-1. So yeah, for me, I'd rather side with Blood Destiny at that price rather than Lossiemouth for all that. I think she is very smart, but at the price, yeah, lay.
I'm pretty sure she's going to win the Triumph, but again, the price looks short, doesn't it? Barry, Lossiemouth in the Triumph, play or lay as we wrap this up?
A really smart filly, and she'll be getting the £7 as well. She's going to be hard to beat the Triumph.
All right. Final one then. Galopin de Champs. We'll come back to you. Long Press, of course. Brave Man's Game. Aplutar got it all to prove them. They Noble Yates Protector at Statler. All right, wasn't he? I mean, he needs a leap of faith, don't we? Galopin de Champs on form, maybe not, but we know he's got that touch of brilliance. What price is he on the sportsbook, Barry? And is he for the Gold Cup a play or a lay?
He's 13-8 for the Gold Cup. At this stage, again, for me, he'd be a lay. Applotard, if he puts in a good performance in Leopardstown, if he was to win in Leopardstown, he'd be challenging Galopin Deschamps, or he'd go clear favourite. You have L'Empresse in there. You have Statler. I don't think that was a bad run last day behind Manila Indo, giving him £8 over that trip around Tremor, which is a really tight turning track. I wouldn't give up on Statler just yet, but yeah, Galopin Deschamps for me is a lay at that price all day long.
Okay,
totally agree with Barry. There's a lot of good horses in there.
We've got the Savills still to come. We've got the
Irish Gold Cup.
The Irish Gold Cup. Sorry, still to come. Not
Denman Chase.
Irish Gold Cup, which completed one, of course, last year. We've got the. I'm thinking what we've got here. Denman Chase. What's the one that I never remember the name? Cotswold Chase.
Cotswold Chase.
That's which.
Yeah, that's what Protectorate's going for, I'm pretty sure. I think that they're hoping to go for that because the ground will be better than the one at Lingfield.
The Fleur de Lis.
Fleur de Lis, that's the one. Yeah. See, you with your pronunciation and your flair today.
He's hidden talents from the wildebeest.
Galopin Deschamps, I have him down as a
play or a lay?
I have a lay for sure. I have him down as a quick horse. All right. And this is a right old marathon, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Kate, play or lay?
Oh, I love him. I absolutely love him, but lay. He hasn't proven himself over that trip yet.
Guys,
he's the best horse in the field.
This.
He's the best horse in the field. But
these are our opinions, guys. It would be fascinating to hear from you out there. We've got loads of weeks coming up at Cheltenham Festival, but with lots of press about all these short price favourites at the Cheltenham Festival. I don't know. If you're on the exchange and you're a layer, could be a juicy time to be alive, couldn't it?
I think so. Well, every year that we go into the festival and there are loads of shorties and a lot of them get beaten.
All right.
They never all win, do they?
Really enjoyed that, guys. Thank you very much for that, because that was on the hoof as well. No doubt our social team will be clipping that up. And again, have your say. Get involved. There's still some time here on the show. We sign off with a 2-mile handicap at Sandown over the hurdles course. But we must now go back to the chase course. It's going to be some site this. They always go hammer and tongs in the Veterans Chase. Barry Orr, who wins it?
At the moment, Dave, it's 7.2 the field, so it's 6-1 the field on the exchange. Ramesses Dete is 7.2, 8.4 Saint Xavier, Custard, Savola, and 11.5 Snow Leopardess. Former hurl winner Baliandi is 12, 10.5. That's what I want to be on here, Kate, please. It's 6 places on the Betfair Sportsbook, so we're going to go there, Kate. We're going to have 25 quid each way. To avail of the 6 places on the sportsbook, please.
On sportsbook, grand.
So if you toggle over to the sportsbook.
Sportsbook and Baliandi.
Sandown, 3 o'clock. No, Prime Venture.
Oh, Prime Venture.
Last year's
winner. I can't hear in this earpiece today. It's not great. Prime Venture, £25 each way.
£25 and click the each way box. It's a 50 odd 6 places you'll see there. So that's what we're doing here.
Perfect.
All right, okay. All right, good stuff. Right, this is, for a lot of you out there, the race of the day. And Barry going, and I must admit, at that price, again, he's not I wouldn't have him on top, but I've got 3 in here and he's one of them, because he actually won quite well last year, didn't he? I know he's a year older, but this is what it's been all about. And to see them having horses placed in the things like the Tolworth, I think this is one that could well go home to Wales. So I will be having a bit of him, if you don't mind. I will stick with my selections. I think Baliandi was overlooked yesterday. He's almost halved in price from what he opened up in. He was meant to run here in the Veterans Series when it got called off, when it got waterlogged. Do you remember the first Sunday? I think it was December,
wasn't it? Yeah.
November, sorry. And then he had to go to Cheltenham. I say he had to, but that's where they ran over 2 mile 4 by Magic Dancer. I think he ran really well there. He hasn't got any chase form here, but he has got Mazir Dezobo Winter Novice Hurdle form. And the track's fine for him, I think. And he just looks sure to run his race. He'll love the ground. He's won over the distance. It's all there for me. And I will be having a little bit on the Leopardess as well to pounce, because I think she will love this test. And Charlie Longston, when he chatted to me yesterday, did 0 to put me off. And it's in contrast to her last year's campaign where it was all bang, 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 win, win, win. I thought she made a good shape in the beach for me. And the harder they go up front, if she's just sitting in that box seat, as we call it, 4th or 5th, it looks ideal for me. I'm having 3 here, there for me. Robbie Wilders.
3 darts. I'm having 1 dart. Q-Star Savola advised in the anti-postman email at 16s at the start of the week. I mean, he's got no weight on his back. I mean, that's not in this race before. Not many have carried big weights to success. Venetia and Charlie won this on Oublon des Obeaux a few years ago. He is the best handicap horse in the race where he's off 127.
But is that for a good reason, though?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, he's had a lot of time off, hasn't he? Like, he was off 595 days before making his first start for Venetia after leaving Nick Williams. That was obviously just a bit of a sight, really, to get him qualified for this at Haydock. Well beaten 5th, but he's down another £3. Got loads of soft ground form. 2 runs at Haydock.
Winner.
Cheltenham Festival winner, yeah. 2 runs at Haydock, RPRs of 141 and 142. One of those are only 4 starts back when he's beaten in the Masters on heavy, second to D. Chabot, who loves Sandown. Yeah, I mean, he obviously likes the place, he likes testing grounds. I mean, you use the phrase like it's been the long-term target, but that probably means nothing in this field, does it? Because it's probably been the same for all of them.
The same for all of them, yeah.
I mean,
fair
18
enough.
runners.
That's a very good point, Rob.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to use that angle. But, I mean, he's, again, one of those. Yeah, well, he was just rated 150 in his pomp, so there's no better handicapped horse in the field and no better man on board than Charlie Deutsch to sort of hunt him round and drive him home first, hopefully.
All right, lovely. We've got loads of old favourites in this, Kate, and we Cross Park and the likes of that. And when you look down the field and you see, like, you know, I don't know, even Indy 5 and Broken Quest for the Dennis Stable, such big prizes. Elegant Escape, Harry Cobden. I know it's all gone sort of a bit wrong, but if you read the excellent Kevin Morley, the trends section of your Racing Post, he puts him up because he ticks every single. But we've got another Cheltenham Festival in Chambard as well on the Lucy Turner, making its way back, of course, to that race. Chirico Vallis and Run to Milan, been laid out. There you go, they all have. But what does Kate Tracey like?
Oh, Valiant each way. I'm in total agreement about him. I just love this horse. I sort of, when you see now, he's just one of those horses where you just think he's going to be around forever. And now that you see that he's 12 years old, you just think, oh, not all good things last, do they, forever? And you just think, oh, Valiandy, bless his heart. But he's so consistent. Only twice in his career has he not completed. And like you say, last time I thought he ran a blinding race over a trip that was just way too short from what he wanted. But he had to run in that rescheduled veterans race, though, at Cheltenham. It was over the 2 mile 4, back up and trip. Yes, he's known as a better hurdler than a chaser. But he jumps fine over a fence, doesn't he? He jumps fine, touch wood, anyway. And he's so well treated here on his best form and on his hurdle form as well. So, yeah, Ballyandy's just a solid play to run his race each way. But, oh, goodness me, it's just, this is one of my absolute favourite races of the entire season. Yeah,
it's going to be some spectacle over those railways, watching these old boys who jump the best. Fingers crossed, going hammer and tongs. And Tom Leach comes back. He's been with us all afternoon. Does Ballyandy jump well enough? It's taking him a little while to get his act together. I know what you mean, Tom. I'm on Snow Leopardess and Run to Milan, who comes good for the Dartnells usually at this time of year. Got plenty of form around Exeter, we'll give him a squeak here. The favourite's been really easy to back, isn't he? Ramsey's de Taille, Barry. His form going right-handed is the concern.
Yeah, out to 8.4 now. St. Xavier with Lily Pinchin is 8.2, so that's your favourite on the exchange. Kusar Savola is 9.4. Run to Milan, that's been really well supported, is into 10. And Chico Villas with Richie McClernand into 14.5. There are 2 outsiders that have come in for really decent support. Run to Milan's been matched at a high of 40 on the exchange. Last traded price 10.0. And Chico Villas in the JP McManus colours has been back at a high of 28 and is into 14, so he's half the price.
For JP, all right, and those famous green and yellow silks. All right, thanks, Barry, for that. Yeah, they're circling down at the start. A couple being kept away from them. Elegant Escape and Indy 5, but Ramsey de Taille wants a bit of it early, if that's how they're going to line up. Good luck, guys, whichever way you play in the 3 o'clock. The Veterans Handicap Chase, really valuable stuff. And if anything's asked you to go on, if your horse is out the back turning in, don't worry. They've probably gone a bit too fast. Remember Lily Pinchin went hammer and tongs?
Yeah, I was going to say, Valadon.
In these colours,
Valadon in these colours, a big grey lad. And that's why, you know, sort of when the ride she gave Imperial Alcazar there a few weeks ago, very similar. So you'd hope that Lily's not going to do something similar to the usual
There is a trend
Sandown
developing on terrestrial TV, Lily in the last. And it's not quite the last race, but she went on Tea for Free at Newbury in the last, and then, of course, on New Year's Day in Hector Javalet. Let's get another social up on the screen. There's a bit of buzz about Lily at the moment, quite rightly so. Crazy Ruddock said, this is a race to savour. Absolutely, Craig. We're going to give it some money in here, although I'm waiting on Snow Leopardess for a double and a treble. Right, Craig, if she hits the last...
Easy to spot her anyway, isn't it?
I will not be able to spake. No, absolutely, yeah. She is... There she is for the Fox Pits. What a great story she is, and this will probably be her last season, but they are still hoping to get it to the National. They're hoping there will be a deluge. Yeah. Not the first week of April, of course. It's mid-April now, the National, isn't it?
Yes. We've got a bigger gap, haven't we, between...
It's all a bit on its head this year with coronations and all that sort of thing going on. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. What a 2023 we're going to have here in the studio for you. And thanks for joining us this afternoon. Still 2 3 more races to come. We go back to
Three
Wincanton,
more.
don't we?
Yeah, one
Yeah,
at
we do.
Wincanton.
All right, lovely stuff. Still a chance to get your name in lights here by interactively joining the show. You can do so by liking and subscribing on YouTube, in the chat there, Facebook Live, and of course anything on Twitter. #RB Live. All right then, great stuff. And look, we're all got it right that time, Dave Lowe, didn't I? All right, okay. I'm looking at Bally Andy out the back. I don't want to see him a little bit closer. I want to see him a little bit closer. A Prime Venture unsurprisingly right out the back. This is 8 to 1, 7 to 1. The field races. Let's just enjoy
Indy 5.
What are you doing there, Indy?
Indy 5 has been kept away from them right from the get-go. Chambard out the back, Porto Rico out the back as well. Q-Star for Robbie, he's going to be held up as well. Look at Run to Milan, a nice midfield sit for him. They always go so hard in this, don't they?
Yeah.
Cue a muddling gallop now, of
Look
course.
how many runners we've got. My God, when was the last time we saw that
Yeah,
in this country?
and we've just hit the 3 o'clock mark. So, come on, guys. And Ramsey's Detail really wants to get on with it now, look.
Yeah.
Tom Schoonermore just sensing that this guy's
I
right
thought they
back
couldn't
on.
canter in.
Well, they're not allowed
No.
to. So this is going to be a falsie.
Decent.
This is going
Oh,
to
no,
be a
Lily,
falsie.
don't do a Validom again.
Yeah,
that
no,
was
no, don't like
crucifying.
that. They don't like that. Flag man's not happy.
No.
Look, he looks old school, doesn't he? He looks like he's from the 40s or something.
Tiny, that fella.
Norman Wisdom was about to come and join him on the track. That is a great sight. A really good crowd we're hearing at Sandown today as well, which is great. And I don't know, attendance prices, they just need to be looked at, done. There's a lot of noise about that at the moment. And let's hope that changes a bit, because it's a tough old world out there in a minute, guys, isn't it? And
It is.
we want you to recreationally go and support these race courses, and let's face it, a day out of the races, it doesn't get any better, does it? Certainly doesn't, but there is a little bit that needs to look at. So great to see Lingfield getting so much talk about, just 20 odd quid to get in for the 3
I know,
days.
those package
there.
deals are amazing. They're so good.
Yeah, they've got a great new team
Really
in there at
good.
Lingfield. It's going to be,
Yeah, fair play to them.
exciting times for them, I think. And the Winter Million, as Gary Moore said, that's his Cheltenham and all that sort of stuff. We'll be covering that on the show for you, of course. All right, okay. What else? And Dublin, of course, isn't it? €44 for just 2 days. Fancy a trip to the old Dublin Festival?
I've been to Dublin so many times, mate. I've been
Never
about
been to
5 or
Leopardstown,
6
though, I
times.
bet.
Nah.
No.
I've been to Punchtown a few times.
Have you?
Yeah, it used to be a
First trip to
tradition.
Goran on the 26th.
Oh,
The Tyestes
Oh,
heading
man.
over.
That's Mullins Town.
Whereabouts
All right,
is
then, we are- it's a
Goran
standing
in
chat.
relation to
It's
Dublin?
Willie Mullins'
How
town,
far
isn't
away?
it?
We're off here, lads.
We are off and running, and Snow Leopardess, finally they got him off. Look at Lily Pinchin, despite last year, fair play Lily, I'll tell you what,
Whoa.
San Xavier
Wow,
studied right
that's
into that
Broken
one.
Quest.
Broken-
Made
yeah.
a bad mistake.
Is that right?
Elliot
And
Escape
wishing
being
and hoping who
rousted.
tried to lead last time out for a long way, but Ramsey's Detaye, who took out a leg of this at Warwick as he liked, didn't he, the old boy? He's chucked in still on some of his best form, but is
2
he
greys to the 4 days.
Oh,
loving this.
lovely.
Apparently they jump better, Barry, someone once said. Very famously
Some
on this
people
show.
reckon.
That's it. Who's that out the back? Is that Chambard? It is, isn't
Chambard out
it?
the back.
Chambard.
Wow,
and Lucy
Ramsey's.
Turner, the Cheltenham Festival winner, is really not enjoying things out there. That standing start, I don't know if he's hampered by last year's winner. First thing to say, if you're with Barry
Out
on
the
Prime
back.
Venture, nicely put out the back. Adam Wedge will just be hunting round on the first circuit. They go round twice, of course, guys.
100%.
Deutsch has just deliberately taken Kustos Savoda out wide.
Along with Elegant Escape.
Yeah, interesting.
All right, let's have a look at some of the other fancied runners. Chico Varis, late support for him. He's on the inside. Snow Leopardess, perhaps a little bit further back than Charlie would like. We shall see about this horse that likes to eat offensive. Lily Pinchin tried to make all Kate, steadied right into the first San Xavier. She's down about 6. This is like watching a national, isn't it?
It literally is. This is the national all over again. Fences coming up thick and fast. Oh, loads of horses.
Is it
Who's that
raining
specking?
there?
A little bit of rain, I
looks
think,
like it
Barry.
is.
Yeah,
Looks like
yeah,
it's-
it is. Yeah, a bit of rain on the screen. Yeah, it's going to make the last
Sir
fun, isn't it?
Ivan.
Sir Ivan is up
Who's
there
down
as
on
well.
his
Cross
nose,
Park is in the middle as well. Kate, pick out some more for me. Come on.
Bally Andy further back in the field as well. I know these silks are going to start to get pretty muddy, so we may have to pick them out now whilst we think about it. Yet Prime Venture coming from further back. Charika Vallis is bang up with the pace as we tend to expect from him then. Sir Ivan, despite being down on his nose, is still bang there up with the pace. Yep, Snow Leopardess fallen back, but Ramsey's Tataye right up there with the usual front runner, wishing and hoping on the inside.
And Chambard and Lucy Turner, the successful partnership, of course, at Cheltenham last season, right out the back, and miracles will need to happen there. Broken Quest out the back as well. Robbie, we know where you are. You're very happily just sitting there watching this.
Yeah, I was a bit happier earlier on. It looked like he lost a few lengths up the home straight, but
I seem to remember when he went on that run, Kustar Savola. He was a horse that liked to put his nose in front early on enough. So maybe he's just going through the pack a bit. That was Lucy Turner. Who
the other Venetia one.
Yeah.
That was a soft enough unseat, but it is Lucy's ride because they won at the Cheltenham Festival. So not today for them. An Elegant Escape, though, it is that's duelling up front, Wishing and Hoping, a horse that showed plenty of speed over a shorter trip last time. Very good hunter chaser he used to be for Alex Edwards. He's right up there at the moment as well. Chirico Vallis got a lovely
Aidan doesn't look happy on Snow Leopardess there at all.
No, she's not happy at all, Snow Leopardess. She's gone right back through the pack. I said, didn't I? A couple of fences ago.
Very on Snow Leopardess.
She just isn't enjoying life. I think she's racing a little bit awkwardly. We will see how long Aidan perseveres with the Great Grey Mare. Lily Pinchin, again, Lily just on a high at the moment, isn't she? Sir Ivan there as well. Kustar trying to get back into it now on the flat. Up Helly. A King is there for the Alexanders. Crossbart, where's he? A horse that we associate with this race. He's just biding his time as well. Looking for when Adam Wedge is going to start to think about making a move. I reckon we've got another 5 fences before that happens yet. Ballyandy has, interestingly, Kate, got a target right on last year's winner.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Tracking through Prime Venture the whole way. But yeah, they haven't got a mad gallop that's been overly sustained as such. So yeah, they're going to have to hope that they're going to kick on early enough for these horses further back to be getting involved from what we've seen today at Sandown, where the pace has generally held up in the main on the chase track.
Wow, there's about 20 lengths between them, Barry, as they embark on the final circuit.
Yeah, Ramazan Detai getting a nice cider up front is favoured at 6.498 Ballyandy. You have 10 Chico Velas is hunting around lovely there as well. St Xavier is 13, same price Kustar Savola. Run to Milan is 12 as well. The horse in the pink, he's hunting them up on the outside there. All to play for really, but 5.5 now. Ramazan Detai.
Does it look like Snow Leopard has found a bit more appetite?
Yeah, all of a sudden
obviously she's easy to spot, as Barry said, but she has. I'll tell you what, Aidan Coleman has done something very clever here. Who was that?
Who was that in darker colours?
Oh, no, someone went. We didn't spot it. Who was it? I'm not sure. Someone went, but because we're looking at Snow Leopardess, believe it or not.
Cordo Rico.
Was it? It was Cordo Rico, I think.
Star's gone
as well.
Okay, all right. So Bermio's a goner as well. Who trains Birmingham now? Harry Fry, of course. All right, so we're now stretching them on the far side, and Wishing Hoping has said, well, you may be behind me, Cavalry, but you're going to have to come and catch me if you can, because he's starting to really now press on the pedal. And Snow Leopardess, I've just wanted to... fascinating Aidan Coleman. He backed right off her passing the stands. We thought she might get pulled up.
Just regain the appetite.
She's absolutely winging them again all of a sudden. So I tell you what, if you laid that 100, all of a sudden, I don't know. And we are expecting a bit of a collapse at some point. Now, Ramsey's is showing no sign whatsoever having a problem going right-handed. We're going now to the railway fences for the last time. Sir Ivan shaking the reins. When's Ballyandy going to start making a move, Kate?
I know, yeah, exactly. Like I say, you don't want to leave it too late here. It's, okay, he actually was clever then, but there was no sort of strike, got in tight. He's just been scrubbed along now, dear old Ballyandy.
Yeah, Run to Milan keeps catching my eye. Indy 5's has got some decent form as well in these veteran races. Prime Venture then starting to warm up now. Chirico Vallis starting to feel the pinch, but still the front runners are holding sway. This is where it starts to get testing at Sandown. If you had to call it now, Robbie Wilders.
I'm not calling it Kustar Savola, that's for sure.
No, he's gone,
He's done. Snow Leopard is done.
Well, who else would you be going with now?
St Xavier's looking kind of interesting.
What, under Lily?
Yeah.
Loves the mud, but will he get up the hill? Look, Prime Venture, now he's going for Adam Wedge. He's sensing that he's got to get going. And Sam Twiston Davis is trying to respond on Ballyandy. Are they too far back? That'll be the question. Indy 5, who's gone low then, Barry? Has he come to the pond fence? Ramsey's?
Yeah, into 11 to 4, although the one Wishing and Hoping still 2.44 and shot clear.
This is Mel Rowley and Alex Edwards then, a horse that, like I say, has got loads of hunter chase on him. He's a strong,
he's not going to stop, is he? Yeah.
He ran over 2 mile 4 in the Brave Shashka race last time. He's the one to catch then, guys. He's gone clear. Are they going to get him? I'm not sure anything's coming from out the back. This is spread eagle job. This would be a remarkable feat, this would. I'll tell you what. And what a big career best this would be for the yard. You've got Ramsey's in second. St Xavier's trying to walk through the laugh. It doesn't really matter, does it? He's all of a sudden he's treacling and up Helly off of the Alexander. Ramsey's attire is flying, but surely too late, isn't it? Run to Milan picking up the pieces. Snow Leopardess is carrying on, but this is all over. Barder shouting. I'll tell you what, he's idling badly. Ramsey's attire is coming back. We thought there'd be a place collapse. None of it. It held up brilliantly. So your order is Wishing and Hoping. If anyone did that out there, Christ, you're absolutely right. Dreams do come true. And all of a sudden, Ramsey's attire run an absolute blinder. He's back, isn't he? Run to Milan in third. We'll pick up the minor pieces after Barry Orr gives us the story of that.
Yeah, Betfair SP, Ramsey the tie trade at a low of evens in running, Dave. That's as low as that got. I was just trying to look at the places there, but your winner Number 7, Wishing and Hoping, a Betfair SP of 62. So rank outsider. Just Bermeo was a bigger price, or had a bigger Betfair SP than Wishing and Hoping. Ramsey, the tie, I told you, trade at evens. Outside of that, your winner was up and around there all the way. Really, he didn't trade at a high of 120. I don't think that was in running though. I think that was pre-race.
Wow, okay, so this is a guy that's been plying his trade at Aintree, but he did run at the Cheltenham Festival in which he was pulled up. He has got some interest, but even Rob, looking at his app, you're thinking, all right, there must be some back class there somewhere. I mean, he's 5 from 4 in points. I remember when he won, I went pointing, they thought he was going to be, next big thing there. And, okay, he's off 139, but he's got a mark of 147. For a 13-year-old, you're not expecting him to bounce back to 147 all of a sudden,
I could have looked at a race for 36 hours and not come down on that win.
There you go. Honestly,
I think you speak for us all there, Robbie, when you say that.
Yeah.
The funny thing
Fair
is,
play to anyone who
he probably did spend 12 hours doing the preview, didn't he?
No, that's a Keith Melrose race all day long, mate.
Of course
I'll
it
stick
is.
to the hurdles.
All right, one more to come from Sandown. What a spectacle that is. I'm looking for some of the fancied horses. They just struggled to get up. Ballyandy is running on when it's all but over. And anything else in there? I don't really know. St Xavier's run all right. A couple of yards there. It's treacle stuff. One more to come from Sandown. We've got to move on because we go back for the final time to the West Country this afternoon to Wincanton. Let's get a social up. Is it about that race? Boom! A lovely 50-1, and finally Devo pips his head up from under the sofa then. Here he is then this afternoon. A lovely 15-1 to save a dreadful punting week. There's a lot to be said about that social there. Sometimes it's funny how it goes. Well, from a 50-1 winner, Barry, we're going to possibly what some people would consider the hot pot of the day in the 3:15. Yeah,
well, the races we're covering, he's the shortest price. Excuse me, shortest price favourite of the day. He's 1.67, so he's bang on 4 to 6. Sir Psycho is 6.0. Longshanks 8.82. Stoner's Choice. I'm going to take them on, Dave, just at the price. You're not going to do much damage here. He beat Henry II in Chepstow. He beat him well there as well. I know Henry the second was well fancied. He went off at around the even money mark that day, and then he carried his penalty in Market Race, and he gets an opening mark here of 131 in against very experienced horses. Obviously, Sir Psycho fell last day out in Bangor in a novice handicap chase, but he'd be a different proposition today. You've Longshanks in there who pulled up last day. Or a one-seated rider last day, pulled up the time before that. He's got it all to answer. Stoner's Choice has a bit of a chance. So what the price, Kate? We're going to set our own odds here. We're going to look to lay it, and we're going to tick it down from 1.69. We're going to tick it down to 1.65, and we want to take 50 quid at the backer stake. So we'll have a liability of around 30 quid.
Oh, yep. There you go.
You click that, and that'll go into the back section, so someone will come in and back. And they have already, actually.
I mean, it's an interesting move, this, isn't it? Putting this horse into handicap company, considering he beat a Grade 2 when it was Barry said on his hurdling debut at Chepstow, and you go to the Market Raisin form, where he beat a pretty good Midland Park horse and was quite well fancied in Nicky's. He loves the slot, this horse, and the third has come out, was beaten well over. Harry Whittington's horse has come out and done really well over fences since, so the form looks all right, doesn't it? And you're thinking, why go to a handicap with him? Does he think that come festival time, it's just there are no options for this horse? I mean, I don't know. You've got a proper graded animal probably. So what's he doing here?
I just think you can't resist that. I think you can't resist that mark of 131.
11 grand.
I know, that's the thing. Not for the money, but just to find. I don't know, you probably could have found a nicer handicap then for this lad, really, off of that opening mark, rather than to come here. But I guess a Saturday, it's a very, very feasible race for them to win. But it's an interesting choice for them, especially because Connections think the absolute world of this horse. And I've ridden this horse. Yeah. And I was going in it was this time last year, and I sort of didn't really take it in at the time. I was kind of thinking I just saw my lots on the board, and you kind of don't really take it in. He'd only won his Market Race and bumper at that point, finished second at Ascot prior to that. And I sort of sat on him, and because I've ridden a few horses already that day, I wasn't really taking it in. God, he gave me a nice feel. He was so bouncy. And he gave such a nice feel. And I remember I deliberately took a photo of him because I wanted to remember what this one horse was. And it sounds like horrific after timing, but I have got the photo evidence to prove it. Didn't get it of any other horse but him that day. And I went back and said, Kieran's like, oh, what did you ride that day? I said, oh, Chianti Classico. He said, God, he's a rocket, that horse. And I was like, oh, yeah, he gave a nice feel. And then obviously what he's gone on to do, you think, yeah, he is a bit of a tool. So, no, I love this horse and they think the world of him. Of course, his price, isn't what it opened up at. When he opened up at 5-4, God, you just got stuck in when we had Jubilee Express.
There's a keen-on runner, yeah.
He was meant to run yesterday, didn't run anyway.
I know, yeah, funny.
Yeah, a bit odd, really. So that has seen his price massively contract. But yeah, like I say, the prize isn't really there, but you've got to take advantage of that mark.
I think getting so much weight, there is one horse in here that might be quite interesting, but I'll tell you after Robbie Wilders gives us his look at this.
Yeah, Chianti, I think.
Chianti.
Oh,
there's two people that have not had too much
I
red
said
bourbon in their
Chianti. No,
time.
we haven't had enough wine.
Horses can go the handicap route and then end up in Grade 1s later. Good Risk all did it last season.
Yeah.
I mean, Kim Bailey obviously thinks he's on a good mark. I would suspect he's going to win this quite easily.
He's been easy enough to back, Barry's letting him. I don't know, he's been easy enough to back.
Nah, he hasn't. He was just 1.8 earlier.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay,
what I will say is, it wouldn't surprise me to see him something like the Mersey.
We put him in at 2
Nobson's Hurdle at Aintree later in the season.
Yeah, maybe. He went to the Aintree bumper, he skipped Cheltenham, and again, he probably would have got his ground, wouldn't he, there? But I remember when prior to winning at Market Raising, we had Kim do a feature show with us, and he singled out some bumper horses, and he said this was pretty much top of the pack. So interesting. Look, he adds some class, doesn't he, to this race here? But he's got to give a lot of weight away. Sosaico and Stoner's Choice, will they like the ground? They've got a bit to prove after their fences. They're probably biding their time until they get to some bigger plays. And I thought Longshanks was the one, despite the fact he's got more letters in his form figures this season than numbers. He might just be the one that might have a say here. He loves heavy ground. He is a course winner, and he gets a lot of weight from Longshanks. So from Chianti Classico, sorry. So if you're going to do a forecast, he'd definitely be the one for me. And I've got a feeling he might put it up to him for Sean Houlihan.
Quite a decent form line where he's beaten third to Long Press and Gunsight Ridge.
Correct.
Exeter.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I get what you're saying. He's actually quite lightly raced for a 9-year-old as well.
He was fairly well fancied that day as well. He was good to soft ground. He stayed in there for as quick as he could. Not really a chaser, I don't think. And so he comes back. He's a 9-year-old. And look, let's see how he gets on. All right, at the moment they're off and running then. What price did he go off, Barry, on the exchange?
He went off at Betfair SP at 178, and we weren't matched.
All right.
So happy enough to leave it.
Yeah, let's just watch and see what we've got here then. Good luck if you are playing in this, and if you don't have pictures, I'll try and describe it to you. But Match Kendrick, perhaps unsurprisingly, on Stoner's Choice of Fergal O'Brien, has gone out ahead, and he's a horse that has shown most of his best form on slightly better ground, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a nice race in the
Pulling a bit
spring.
jolly, is he?
He can be a little bit keen, horse, but again, small muddling field at the moment, isn't it? I wouldn't worry about it too much at the moment. Longshanks at the back, and you could tell that he was back over hurdles because he had a good look at that first hurdle, but he's still in the fight. And Sosaico, who never went right for him on his chasing debut at all. Did Paul give a line on Sosaico, or does he just think he's a Fruit Loop?
No, just he got a bad fall trying to get his confidence back.
Yeah, okay. All right, so this is...
Our trainer's going to call his horse a Fruit Loop.
Who called Sosaico? I think he'd be allowed to do it. I'll tell you what.
I see what you did there, Dave. I see what you did
Yeah,
there.
there you go. You got me now. Yeah, I was probably a bit ahead of you there. I'll tell you what. If you're having a drink with Paul, I bet he's called him more names than that before. All right, okay. So along we are on the far side, in 2 mile 5. What a treat we've had from Wincanton so far this afternoon. That first race, what a finish that was, and good to see the 2019 winner Alexia Denuts just spread eagle the field and sprint away from them at the end there for the Tizzards. Of course, we've had Tamuras. What did you make of him, guys? You've still got time to let us know. We've got one more coming from Sandown for you. It's been a great afternoon so far. Barry, then they're lining up. He's just gone under 2's on, has he?
He's 2's on, 1.49, 4.8 Sir Psycho, 12.5 Longshanks, and 18 Stoner's Choice now. So, yeah, big odds on.
How's my forecast looking?
So it's Chianti and your
Chianti, well done, you've got it now. You're a quick learner, as we well know.
So you're having it in second, are you?
Yeah, Chianti. If I was kind of like in a restaurant and I didn't know I wasn't sure about the wine list, I would always look for a Classico Chianti.
Oh really? Why is it safe? Is it a safe
Sound
solid?
Is it quite absolutely. I've drunk a fair bit of red wine in my time, as you might
I
imagine.
know that boy. Back in the basement Jack's days.
Dave Claret Orton, yeah.
Your bongo days.
Let me clarify that for you. But and your palate changes, doesn't it, as it goes on? But it's a very sound. I'll tell you what, it's a bit more convincing than he's being at the moment.
Say I was going to a nice restaurant tonight. How much for a bottle of Chianti?
Well, it depends where you went. The restaurant, first and foremost.
All bar one, something like that.
Oh right,
You'd be looking
at about 30s, I think.
30s.
30s.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't
rule yourself out.
For that reason, I don't really ever veer too far away from the Pinot Grigio.
All right, you can buy me one of them after the show. All right, okay, right. So we got 2 more races coming your way. It's been great fun this afternoon. I know the FA Cup's out there and all that sort of stuff, and the producers were very quickly to tell me that my third team at Watford have lost to Tom Seagull's Reading 2-0 this afternoon. Happy days, we're out of that now. We can now move on.
Doesn't matter, does it? You ain't going to win it.
No, exactly. Trust me, last time we got to a final.
And we ain't going to win it
Concentrate on the
either.
league.
City are going to absolutely expose us again tomorrow.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, we're not good, mate.
All right, fair enough. This is Chelsea, of course. All right, Stoner's choice then. Trying to expose any chinks in the armour of the Chianti, but will he pour it on down the home straight? Over we go. I tell you what, Sissaiko's putting himself in the race a little bit, isn't he? He's a horse that they thought a lot of as a juvenile. It didn't really work out for him. Seem to remember he went to
He did attendant.
Did he now?
Yeah,
Martin Broughton's
that's
horse.
why he was off that time
Yeah.
for like the 700 and odd days.
But along with Longshanks, he is one of the course winners in the pack. So the 4 runners around the far side, they should be ramping it up at some point. Again, great to see Wincanton on a Saturday. Back on, because the Badger Beers is a treat for us. Longshanks has just jumped too slowly.
He's very exuberant at some of his hurdles when he's asked the favourite, isn't he?
It's just interesting to see a novice come back into a handicap. And like I say, this is, if you look at the Henry II form, he really ought to be running in graded company, this chap. But here he is with a mark of 131. 11.7 on his back, though. And he's still got Stoner's choice and Max Kendrick, regular rider. Pouring it on for him at the moment, the 8-year-old. No mug, but he does look like he's just waiting in the wings, doesn't he? 1.3 then now on the Betfair Exchange. Longshanks is finally, Sean Houlihan saying, right, you're not jumping well enough. We're going to have to go to plan B here. So Psycho's starting to crack. Looks like he's on
5's on the favourite.
Going to fire.
5's on. That's
I'd say the biggest
generous,
result of the day is we didn't get matched here, Barry, probably because he's in pole position at the moment. I don't know. My forecast is looking all right though, isn't it? I'll tell you what, Longshanks is coming here. He's no mug, Longshanks. I'm telling you, he's getting loads of weight as well.
I'm happy
He's
they're
got him
both
on
off that
press form, this
inside.
boy. Right, okay, turning in then. Could we yet
You
see
want
a
to
special?
come wider.
you go.
You want to come
Come on
wider.
then, this could be happening, couldn't it? All of a sudden,
no.
the favourite is looking out on his feet, or is he just filling his lungs?
Come
Max
on,
Kendrick
Chianti.
goes to the inside. Looks like Stoner's choice is done. Now, all of a sudden, Chianti Classico showing his class, and he's filling his lungs.
Easy,
Slow
though.
motion stuff
Easy,
here.
I think yours is winning,
Longshanks should
man.
love this. The forecast is up anyway. What are we going, Barry? He's gone odds against, isn't he?
Now,
Come on, Chianti.
Come on, Sean Houlihan, get over him. Oh, no! Longshanks has
Dave.
gone. Oh, no!
I think he was going to win that.
I thought he was going to win that as well. The weight would have counted, but the favourite, if you're on him, you can look up now, guys.
That's cruel.
It's up.
So
Thankfully,
cruel.
Longshanks is up on his feet. He jumped clumsily earlier on, and it wasn't until Sean said, come on, let's get on with it, then he looked like it. One more to jump for the favourite. It'd been workmanlike enough, hasn't it? And
It was.
Look, this is slow pudding stuff at the moment, and they're fighting a separate battle for second, but good placing by Kim Bailey. A mark of 131. It was maybe up for debate at the second last, and he's been left with nothing to beat, miles clear. But we didn't get matched, Barry, unlike millions of others out there who decided to play.
Longshank traded at 2-1 on when he came down that time, Dave. The market seemed to think that he was going to win, and I was of the same opinion. I have to say, your favourite can't be had a Betfair SP of 1.78, so just around the 4 to 5 mark. That's why we didn't get matched. We had put into the lane of 4 to 6, 166, 165. So we backed the winner by not laying the winner.
There you are. Absolutely, staying out when in doubt is a fair motto, isn't it? And we've got one more dart.
But that's the key with the exchange. You can set your own odds, so you're master of your own destiny. You set out your stall. You say, right, I'd lay it at 4 to 6. I don't want to lay it at 4 to 5, and that's what we did. And the market, obviously, we didn't chase the price of the horse, and it obliged, but we didn't get matched.
Well,
What a salesman.
Well, that's why he's here. You know, he's the best, isn't he? Absolutely, quite right. You're sold?
Oh, very much so, yeah. I'm a
You're
great
sold.
fan of the exchange, yeah.
Yeah, you're no,
The only
absolutely.
exchange.
You've
I was gonna say, you have to be plural
you've
on
come a
it.
long way on your journey.
My earlier
From giving plural
mishaps.
exchanges. Yeah, all right. There's hope for everyone out there, Barry, isn't there? That's for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Robbie, when he first came in, used to call it the exchanges. Yeah, we had to put that right swiftly, and he took it on board, thankfully.
I learned my lesson, mate. If I do something wrong, I try to learn. Yeah?
You've had a lot of lessons to learn this year and last year, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But you're getting there. Talking about lessons, what have we learned from the comments from Paul Nichols then on Tamuras, his earlier Grade 1 winner of the Tolworth? James Stevens has sent this through to me. Let's have a look. Let me think. Okay, get down. He's very much in the model of Alpha Off and Noland, both of which won the Supreme for us. They weren't really speedy 2-milers, says Paul, but they won at Cheltenham because they stay. He travelled so well there. Can we sharpen up his jumping? Yes, and I think we'll certainly run in the Supreme. If the ground goes soft, which would suit him very well, I'll be looking forward to him. So again, it's a bit of a freebie, isn't it?
That's interesting because when he says Noland, obviously Noland was one of the first horses to trade. I think he was the first to trade at 1,000 and running in Cheltenham on the Betfair Exchange and win. I think that's his claim to fame. It was in 2006, so that could be right. It might have been one before that, but it's very rare for a horse to trade 1,000 and running in Cheltenham at the festival and win. And that's all he did that day up the hill. Anyone who hasn't seen it, I'd urge you to go back and watch it on YouTube or wherever you can. But what a ride Ruby Walsh gave Nolan that day. It was an absolute perler.
Yeah, fancied horse as well, wasn't it? Of course, because with some of the the famous colours, of course. And you can go back in your members club and have a look at that. And I think this boat will be travelling a little bit better than him, that's for sure. But he ends his piece to us in a report that you're going to read in your members club later on by saying, "I would not be keen on taking on Hermes Allen." Make what you want of that. Probably pointless to be taking each other on, but he's a very talented horse anyway, and that's another Grade 1. So he's, where's the next Grade 1 for Paul to win? Because he's on fire with him, isn't he? Where is the next Grade 1? Cheltenham, isn't it? Here. What's the next domestic Grade 1?
There'll be.
It's Ascot, isn't it?
Yes, the
Clarence
Betfair
House.
Ascot Chase.
That's it. The Betfair Ascot
Betfair
Chase.
Ascot
Yeah.
Grade 1, yeah.
Yeah. And it's the why can't
Sorry,
I
is that
remember?
before the Clarence House?
The Clarence House? No, you're
Chase
right.
is February. The Clarence House is this date.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's Clarence House, isn't it?
You're right. It is Clarence House. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm
fine,
thinking
mate.
about. So what would Paul have for that? Well, Grenadine, maybe, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose he might have a little pop at that, mightn't he? He's certainly good enough to do it.
But then if we get Edwardstone and Energumene both rocking up for
And
it.
the Ascot Chase, the
cut-up.
Betfair Ascot Chase. Who's the Irish horse? Who finished second to the Gardamanel? No, not Gardamanel.
you're
to
all
Gallop
over
in
the
Deschamps.
place. You're knackered,
I
mate.
know. I'm
You're
not
talking about Fakir Dudaries, mate.
The
Clarence House
Dudaries,
could be
of course.
Energumene and Edwardstone, couldn't it?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that would be lovely. Because
So
of course,
Energumene Shishkin pot too.
Energumene's got to get his prep in,
New
Barry,
rival.
isn't he? And they obviously don't like going to Leopardstown with him, do they?
No. No, they go the same route as last year.
Really? Ooh. All right, you must not miss stuff then. Oh, wow, the first two in the championship yet again locking on. I mean, really? In this day and age?
I know, exactly.
Who'd
To
have thought?
face each other, and two trainers that aren't going to be afraid of a battle either. We know Alan King doesn't shy away from any other horse. He doesn't
Ducking
care.
and diving.
Nope,
none
doesn't
of
duck
it.
and dive anything. And they want to get loads of runs into Edwardstone as well, don't they? They want to just
For
keep
sure.
running him, which is
He's not,
brilliant.
exactly,
Well,
absolutely.
it worked for him last season, didn't it? So
Yeah, exactly.
doing it.
One more to come then. All that ahead of us yet to come here on Racing Post Live, and so this is just a great run in now, isn't it? So let's enjoy every single Saturday, and I think we've had another good one here today, and we've got a final race coming up. There's another Venetia hot pot in this. It hasn't gone her way so far today, Barry, but the punters are forgiving individuals, and I think J-Lo will take this out.
Yeah, it's your clear favourite at 3.0, so bang on 2-1. 5.6 ICO Hardy de Sul, 6.6, 6.8 lightly squeezed. Dr. TJ Eckelberg, it's 14, it's 27 bar. The lady that I was fancying is out to 28 now. We're going to look back at the 3-place market. Obviously, it's been off for a very, very long time. We haven't seen it since July 2021. But going back to his juvenile days as a 4-year-old, he was a course and distance winner here, and he followed up then. That was in January, and then in the February in 2020, he followed up when he beat Flick Up by You and the newest one in a decent novice hurl. If he comes back to anything close to that, off 1-2-6, he'd have a big chance. So 3 places, please, Kate.
Yep.
We're going to look to back him at the 3-place market. We're going to look to have 25 quid on him in that 3-place market. Currently around 13-2. I'm happy to be a price taker here at 7.6.
Lovely. All right, I'll put it up to, so it just literally went to 7.4. There you go.
Looks generous enough, doesn't it? I have to say, yesterday when previewing this race, I said to Paul Keeley, I said, this looks like an absolute nightmare, this. Looking down, and he went, I think I found one. And, like Barry, and like Kate, and like my, my bandwagoning self, we are hoping that the show will go on and that the curtain does indeed come down.
Okay, I'm liking
with
this more, so.
Come on, you can think of the puns. They're all the puns
good
that are,
pun,
aren't they?
yeah, really
This name will be in lights at the end of this race.
Yeah, the stage is set,
The starring role is going to... It's the Santini switch.
Yeah.
It's the same colours, of course. Polly Gundry, 4th in the Grand National for Polly after leaving. And Nico takes the ride. And as a juvenile, when it was sloppy ground, although he might have been in a slightly better place, it was Chris Wall, wasn't it? It was a flat runner for from memory, without clicking and looking down. He's obviously had plenty of problems since those heady days. But he thrashed Flicker Voyou, who's a proper 135 horse. That makes him a 1-4 horse, 140 horse on his best. Martin Mead had him on the flat. And here he is off 126. And there's got to be a reason why she's coming back to Sandown. There's just got to be. Yeah. Because he absolutely loves it and he's got his ground. So look, I'm on the
I did get
50s
it. I was having a look at him. I was sort of worried about the Gundry switch. Didn't it take Santini a little while to sort of put his best foot forward?
Doesn't it take Santini a while to do anything?
Yeah, he's a slow old boy.
Is he a back and lay on the Betfair Exchange? Just get this right. You only said the exchange, isn't it? Is he a back and lay sort of individual? This chap? Do you think he'll go short at Barry? Is it like worth dangling an in-running thing with Palladium here?
You could potentially, if you're thinking that way. Obviously, I'm just in the place market on this because his first run back, he's obviously had a lot of problems in his career, the horse, because he looked like he was going to be a real fair tool in the early days, and then injury struck. But I think on his first run back, I'm happy to back him in the place market. I'm coming down with a short throat.
Ah, well, listen, you're lucky. There's only one race left.
They all have it in the house.
Yeah, it's been around, hasn't it? It's been going around, that's for sure. So Palladium for us, all right, after 529 days, happy to be with a 7-year-old on this ground, and we'll take a flyer, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, Polly, I have an awful lot of time for. I know she doesn't have many horses. Another connection where I actually started out. I did my work experience at Polly Cundry's when I was in year 10. Everyone else went off to offices.
This is when she was winning every
places.
ladies point-to-point out there.
Yeah. Oh, she was my idol growing up, seeing her on the point-to-point circuits, riding every winner. We Fly and Let's Fly were the horses she used to ride. Proper throwback, that is. And I went to her for work experience. God, it was an eye-opener. She's the hardiest person in racing. I think she is something else.
Never meet your heroes, but this was an all right experience.
Oh, brilliant. No, but I love her. Absolutely love her. I learned so much, and God, she didn't have to put me through my paces at that age. And she the same with her horses. She worships her horses, but she wouldn't, sort of mommy cuddle them by any means. She'd be hardy enough with them. So I'm not that concerned about this layoff for him. And yeah, she has the connection with the Kelvin Hugheses.
Yes.
And why they got Santini and now Palladium. Hopefully it'll suit him. And like I say, 2 from 2 at Sandown, so hopefully he can build on it.
This will do, and he's chucked in on his best. It'll do for us. But you're honing in slightly on a shorter run, aren't you?
He wasn't that short yesterday. He's come in for a bit. I imagine that's partly because of In the Air being a non-runner. He was very short. But Hardy de Soy, I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
I was initially drawn to Isio because, he was a potential Triumph Hurdle horse last season after he won at Kempton. He was down 15 to 8 to beat Piper, of course, at Cheltenham. He didn't go to plan. He's a very free goer. I was just worried because Nickel Stabletory was saying that he wanted to go straight over fences with Isio, and apparently he's had a slight hold up before this. So I'd look away from it. I thought Hardy de Soy was the one. He is French bred, and he's got loads of form on very soft ground in France. But
in France, yeah.
Yeah, he's mainly been campaigning on good ground for Jamie Snowden.
Which is interesting because if you read Jamie's comments, he said it was too quick for him in the Welsh Champion hurdles. I quite liked him when he was winning over fences as a young horse, when he first came over.
Yeah, because he was cashing in with the old four-year-old allowance. Yeah. Now he's 6. He hasn't had many goes over hurdles for Snowden. He's £11 lower hurdles mark, and it's the ground which is quite key. He was second to Minella Drama in a Grade 2 novice chase on the soft ground last season. He's also a good second at Kelso for mark 135. RPR 142. He's off 124 here, so if it's today's the day, it could well be. But he is well handicapped, and I think there are a few here that are potentially well treated. But I thought he was potentially the one.
Okay, all right, you've heard from us then. Let's go back to Barry because JLo continues to harden. Now, we spoke about something earlier, Barry, about how you needed to have 4 runs as a novice to qualify for these Premier handicaps. Entries for the Betfair Hurdle not out yet. Do you think this could be a 4th run trying to get it into him for Venetia and the team?
That'd be great. More the merrier in the Betfair Hurdle. I'd love to see that. I think there's a little bit more to it than that, though, Dave. Like a mark of 129, depending what runs, really, that might get you into a Betfair Hurdle. That low mark, it would have got you in last year, I think, but a couple of years before that, it wouldn't have. But he's not as hard as you think. He's out to over 2-1 now. He was 288. He's out to 305 now. ICO is strong and Hardy de Soy both strong. They're 5.4 each at 2. And Lightly Squeezed is come in for some support as well, is into 8. And it's 18 bar them.
All right, okay, some right characters in here, thank you, Barry. Band of Outlaws, who remembers him?
Yeah.
Oh.
We talk about
winner.
previous promising horses.
Cheltenham
Goodness
winner,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Siegel put him up today. I couldn't really. I was quite surprised when I saw that.
He
Going to Ben
knocked
Haslam
the
is
eye out
it's
when
a
I
red
looked at the
flag,
decks
isn't
for
it?
this.
Going to Ben Haslam. No offence to Ben Haslam, but
Well, yeah, look, listen, if
red
you
flag.
like Hardy Desoy, Ben flexed his muscles with the XJP horses in that Weatherby race, because what was it that landed a gamble for him there? It was called Iroko, wasn't it? Which was on the Paddy Power Gold Cup weekend. I remember watching that. And
Had a lot of problems, that horse.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Band of Outlaws. But you
A lot of issues.
You guarantee that there will be a plan.
be a day
for
in
this job. I think so.
Yeah.
Could it be at
There'll be a plan
Sedgefield
for
on Cheltenham Festival Day, or something like where Ben has loads of runners? It might be. When we're all looking over there, in comes Band of Outlaws.
Him and
with his
Jerry's back,
merry
all
men.
of the
Yeah,
peers on
absolutely,
the same
shoving it
day.
on. I know, it's a great game. He's lightly squeezed, he's slightly bigger than I thought he might be. Back to form at Kempton last time. 9-year-old, but it's sort of race that Harry Fryder's well in. Brian Carver takes the rider already off the mark, of course, with Love Envoy. I suppose ECO, we don't really know what we're going to get from him, do we?
no, he's the
ECO.
one where he could be just way better than we've seen.
Is this the...
But I don't really want to find out at that price.
Paul's had 5 previous winners in this in the last 10 years and only 2 have placed. I thought this might have been the Samareve race, but maybe not quite yet for that one from last year. TJ Eckelberg, Doctor.
Yeah, he's in great Gatsby, isn't he?
Now, you would
TJ
know this
Eckelberg.
because I remember when you joined the tipping
Yeah.
team this time last year.
Got to be
You
near
know where
my
I'm going with this,
anniversary.
don't you?
Who?
You put up a 3-pointer and we went, oh, I've just got
Oh
rid-
yeah, it was
we-
TJ. Yeah.
We've just got rid of 10-point Tom Collins, and along comes his replacement, and he's putting up 3 points willy-nilly. And
10-point Tom.
10 points Tom.
10-point Tom,
And we thought, right, back to the 1 points, keep it steady, lads. You know, safe gambling and all that. And along comes him. We have 3 points on this, and you just
Yeah, we got away
over the line,
with it.
didn't you?
Got away with it.
We were
He's
all-
only like 7-4. Or
I
something.
sent Rod as a message going, what have you done here? We're going to have another year of this. And you just got it over the line, didn't you?
Yeah, I've sort of calmed down a bit since then.
Yeah, well,
Can't blow your load. You can't blow your load. that
you
early.
absolutely can't, and it's a game that does it to you. Right, okay. Lightly Squeeze is coming down to last. Been great to have you with us this afternoon, guys. Loads of viewers out there as well. Keep watching those clips on Twitter a little bit later on. We'll be back next week as well. When Mark Orlowski's coming in the studio, is he next week, Barry?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've got the profiled in.
The GOAT is back in the studio next week, as we call him. You love it.
Self-professed goat, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, we've given it. Listen, he's got a good following because he plays the social media game, does Mark. And Barry, I'm not sure if you were here when he was in. I know it was when he was in the studio with Bruce, and we did the Friday show. Do you remember at Cheltenham?
Yeah.
And Bruce said he's looking at me like he's a gangster. He looks at me like he's going to wants to get
Bruce
out of
said
this.
that live on the show.
He was like, I'm gonna, I feel like I'm going to be taped to a chair
Yeah, he
in,
does look like-
in a disused car park somewhere, and he's going to be grilling me the way he looks at me on
He
the
does
camera.
look like a nutter, doesn't he?
He's a good lad.
He's a great lad.
He's a good lad.
He's got a great following and he's got a great sense of humour, and we can't wait to have him back because he does like to look outside the box and successfully as well. So that's next week, of
Hates
course.
Goshen, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't. He put on the Goshen t-shirt. He's got
did
good
he?
fun. Yeah, we got him with Goshen.
nice angle.
He famously said, "I wouldn't want lay Goshen in a walkover." That day we were having the walkovers at Ascot, and we all saw what happened.
And Q
in the
Goshen going
Colorado.
and winning, He took it well though, didn't he?
Oh, he did, because that's the
take it
game,
very well.
isn't it? And
is.
you know, you've got to try and take on these hot pots, which Barry is doing here with J-Lo, now above the 2-1 mark, 13-8 on course, of course. Once again, highlighting where the very real value lies, that real market there. And you can see it going. We're going to have some fun in running here, guys. Keep your eye on the likes of Band of Outlaws. There's a day in him, says Barry, and I totally agree. Infal is an interesting horse for the Moors. Will the ground be a bit too testing for him? Dr. TJ Eckelberg as well. What else we got down here? Tiger Voices there, Poseidon's as well. Ramsey's to Tyre, ran such a good race, didn't he, in the Veterans Final for the Pipes also. Okay, good luck, guys. It's a lucky last, as a certain Tomo would have said. It looks like we're going to jump off in front here.
Yeah, go and play him.
That's how you start. Come on then, Nico, from the front. On the no, it's not Santini. Rub your eyes. It is indeed Palladium. He didn't used to run in these colours either. And he's stolen 3 lengths at the start as well. Come on, let's ping the first, my old son. What have you got? Very keen Band of Outlaws in around about third space. Lightly Squeeze could have settled better as well. Dr. TJ Eckelberg is in fourth. Looking for J-Lo, the hot pot. A little bit keen on the inside, the novice. How do they go over the first? Oh, wing that, the Palladium. Oh, unlike Isio out the back. And I imagine that price is going to go right out in a minute, I would imagine, because he was a little bit novice there and a bit keen as well. Tiger Voice at the back for Robert Williams. He's also keen. Mind you, they're all keen, aren't they? I think Infal as well. And Poseidon in the middle of the pack. All right, jump there, Barry. We're 3 lengths in front.
Yes, and into 23 from a Betfair SP at 29, but obviously a long way to go. JLo is 3.5, 4.5 ICO. That was probably one of the best back in the race. 6 hardy to soil and lightly squeezed.
He didn't like the first hurdle, his ICO, but once again, the market not panicking very early days. And obviously not worried about fitness, Kate Tracey.
No, clearly not then. Yeah, just being decisive about it, aren't they? And he jumped that first one well, exuberantly. And yeah, like you say, they're not riding him to hopefully get home here, but I'm not really a believer in that anyway.
You've got to be very happy with Hardy to
I'm happy enough, mate, yeah. Settled quite nicely. I'm not as happy as you guys on Palladium, though.
Well, it's nice just to see when you're on a go.
The
I mean, it's a massive price yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And people just looking, thinking this is a cast off. But actually, once you delve closer, which is why you read your Saturday Sizzlers and Paul Keeley, that 50-1 was an insult. Let's hope it pays off. Infile out the back then at the moment with ICO. Tiger Voice at the back there. JLo on the inside. How's he going, Kate? The well-fancied favourite.
Yeah, no, go. I mean, they're all going fine enough at this stage anyway. But yeah, he is just picking it up a little bit there on the run down the hill. But he's absolutely fine. I just don't know where we are with JLo. I thought he was worth taking on at that price. But right now, there's nothing to be too dismissive of. They're coming from further back on the hurdle course than they have been on the chase course today so far at Sandown.
All right, TJ Ecclebird, the doctor, sits in second and lightly squeezes closest to Palladium. Much better from Palladium there. A little bit thinker the other one. I think it's a long time since he's been racing at this pace over hurdles, but I don't know, he's going to try and stretch him out, Nico, isn't he? Now, all of a sudden, Harry Cobden switches ICO, the Nichols runner, right to the outside. That's an interesting move. Looking for JLo as well. I think Charlie Deutsch has just come off the inside as well. So at the moment, it's just Hardy Desoy and Dr. TJ
You just don't want to
Ecclebird.
be down that inside rail notoriously
up,
at Sandown. Yeah, on the hurdle track when it goes soft. It's just...
You saw it with Nemean Line got a bit rough for him as well,
you
didn't
just
it?
don't want to
In the
be
toll.
stuck on that inside and the ground. You want to be coming wider.
Yeah, well, Harry Cobden looks like he could be going through the London route at the minute. He's gone really wide. All right, Palladium then. That was 3 out, guys, believe it or not. Lightly squeezed his poise. Poseidon, Tiger Voices. They're all starting to come now, the cavalry. This is where they get ready. See what Band of Outlaws is going as well for Tom Siegel as well. ECO cutting through the pack, but at the moment, Palladium still going. Has he let them catch up or has he saved something, Barry, or this long run to 2 out?
Yeah, you can't split JLo and ICO. They're both 3.5, 7.6 hardy to soil, 6.8 lightly squeezed. Palladium is 36.
Wow, that's still a big price, isn't it? All right, okay, this is where the men become boys in the final race of the day on RP Live and at Sandown. Band of Outlaws, not today for him. Okay, the cavalry's coming. Poseidon there. Look at Dr. TJ Ecclebird. Hardy Desoy on the inside. Charlie Deutsch is now all of a sudden starting to go. Palladium starting to run now. What's he got? The
ICO's travelling so well.
ICO's travelling well. He's going down the fence route.
Go on the Hardy.
I think Palladium's, he's run a really good race, Palladium, but he's just about to get taken on by the race fit Aussie now.
Harry Cobden gone to...
He is. Is he going to pull this off? He might well do. This is often where they come on the flat, isn't it? But at the moment, it's the doctor, TJ Ecclebird. 3 points again for him, my son. Hardy this would be irony if he got beaten by this. Hardy Desoy could be Robbie Wilders in the last. Hardy Desoy and Gaston. Look at JLo, look, he's been really confidently ridden. But he flattened that.
Hardy, go past.
Hardy Desoy up in a moment. Has he got any more to go? I'll tell you what, JLo's been given too much to do, I think. On song, the doctor not going to be today for him because it's Hardy Desoy. Robbie Wilders in the last. You had to wait all afternoon. I think it's just a second. Charlie Deutsch was
10-1 last
Charlie
night.
Deutsch knew he had a very well handicapped horse there, and he's obviously been told to get there right at the final stride, and he clouted the last. Not for him. Wilders knew Barrier.
He certainly did. Great type, Robbie.
Thanks,
the
Bart.
second TJ Ecclebird traded a low of 1.52, so 2-1 on, lightly squeezed. Just traded a low of 4. I thought he would have traded shorter. ICO traded at a low of 2.04, which is even money. And JLo traded at a low. No, that didn't trade load and run. That traded at 2.7, but that was a pre-race. Your winner had a Betfair SP of 5.76. I think that race is going to have a big pointer towards Betfair Hurl. I think you'll see JLo in the Betfair Hurl, and I still think you'll see ICO in the Betfair Hurl. That's a great run from ICO, a horse that's been out for nearly a year.
I'd be very happy to be backing JLo next time out. I think we just watch him. I know we're about to sign off, guys. We'll watch JLo here.
as well.
Look, Charlie Deutsch, Kate, is doing everything he can to be patient here.
Yeah.
They're going for it, and he's jumped that okay in about fourth. Watch him come into the last. I think he thinks he's going to win this, and the way he finishes after flattening that hurdle which definitely cost him here. They're paddling the battle front. Take nothing away from the Snowdon winner. He's attacked at the right time. Very good right, Gav Shib. But look at Charlie here, look. He thinks he's got him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just going for the gap then, like you say.
He's flattened it.
That's the only thing, when you are coming from that bit further back, you are so reliant on your jumping being pinpoint accurate,
and
basically.
watch him finish now. You think he's done with, he's got no right.
Yeah,
but actually on the pull-up, I bet you after the line he's in front. Anyway,
Yeah,
look,
he's
not
one to
today
take
for the
out, isn't
favourite.
he?
Not been Venetia's day, but he's finished really well. And again, might just have been a pointer there. Okay, Barry, that's it. It's a wrap. Been a great afternoon, man. Another good shift.
Yeah, great show. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kate, for doing the pressing the buttons on
Not at
Betfair.
all.
Robbie, good tipping. You finished on a high as usual. Well done.
Cheers,
And well done, you, Dave. Not coming up for air for what? 2 hours.
That's it. I'm going to go and have a well-deserved pint like yourself now. Cheers then for the big hitter.
Thanks, Barry.
Robbie, great show.
Yeah, good fun, mate.
It's good to end on a high, Rob, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Best one to win, isn't it, at last?
Yeah,
But,
quite right.
We'll look forward to a nice evening
And
tonight.
Kate, great to have you back in 2023.
Oh, it's great to be here. Yeah, no, have to give him credit there for that one. That was a very good tip with Hardy to Sawyer the same. So, yeah, I'd say the sushi was on you, but you can't really eat any of that, can you?
You can get vegan
Avocado
sushi places around London Bridge. Yeah,
It
don't worry about that.
almost look like you're trying to invite that, Kieran.
Oh,
Turn off
come
now. That's what I would say.
on.
All right, it's been a
We
great
whack 'em,
afternoon here on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. Well done to Will and Dave in the studio as well. We'll be back next Saturday, 1 p.m. Join us then.